Good evening, welcome along to Tuesday's Poker Night Live. I'm Nick Wealthall and I'm here with you for the next 4 hours, bringing you no limit hold'em action from the internet. We're going to be watching real players playing for real cash all the way through till 2 o'clock. And with me to do that is Malcolm the Rock Harwood.
Good evening.
Pleasure to be with you, Malcolm.
And you.
Our first time. It's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting.
A little bit nervous.
Our first date.
Yeah, we're a little bit excited.
How far are we going to go on our first date?
We're going all the way, Malcolm.
Right,
I hope you're ready. How have you been? You've been telling me you're on fire. Those are my words, not your
your
words.
That's not on fire. I haven't played much at all live lately. I've been very busy. But I played at Luton a couple of weeks ago and won it. And then I went back again and came third.
Disaster.
And then I had a reasonable result at Reading this week. Stanley's Reading. Beautiful card room.
Yeah.
One of the best I've been in.
Excellent.
Not well organised, the tournaments. It was their first festival, but they do listen, and I think they'll change it.
And they've got the facility.
And it's just a beautiful casino. Okay. Everything's there, the parking, safe place, easy to get to, and stacks of room.
And the cards were good to you there, so you got.
They weren't that good. I ended up getting knocked out with 9 deuce, so that's not exactly.
That's not
great.
But you were fourth.
But I got 1,500 out of it. No, I'm happy. You know, just to get a result nowadays with the sort of fields you're playing and the calibre of the players you're playing,
well,
I'm quite pleased.
Guys,
anyway, that's better way.
Many of you will already know Malcolm from other TV appearances and, of course, from other appearances on Poker Night Live. If you don't, I've got no fear of contradiction when I say he's one of the best poker pros in Britain. So take advantage of his massive poker brain. We're here to help you and make your game better. So ask me and Malcolm anything you like, whether you're a beginner or an expert player, doesn't matter. Also, share with us your poker stories. We want you to get in touch. It's your show, and you dictate what we talk about. Whatever you ask us, that's what we'll discuss. Couldn't be easier to get in touch. Just text poker and your question, and there's the number 84222. Or if you prefer and you have an internet-capable device, such as a computer, you can email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And apparently we've also got a website. There it is, pokernightlive.co.uk, where you can watch us anywhere in the world. You need never be without your PNL hit. We're going to have a good night tonight, lots of fun, and our usual mix of games, guys. There'll be cash games, single tables, and of course a multi-table tournament, which we'll dip into through the night. And you'll also have a chance to play Beat the Presenter against the Rock.
Which is me, and I'm in a little bit of form, so...
He's hot. You can try and crack the Rock. Many have tried.
Many have succeeded.
Don't believe it.
Especially my wives.
If you are one of Malcolm's wives, why not play Beat the Presenter tonight? Give us a little edge.
Yeah, they beat me to death for the last 2, so they might as well make the triple.
There you go. Let's make it a hat-trick. Guys, that's happening at 11. Malcolm will be playing online. For the minute, let's have a look at what games we've got at the moment. Malcolm, would you like to take us through it?
I'll do my best.
With our... Look at that very nice new table display that I'm seeing for the first time.
And that's a sit and go. It's a $5 buy-in, and I must say I'm impressed with the new software. That's going to be a lot easier. Even I can see how many chips they've got. That's fantastic.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, I like that.
Much better.
$10 sit and go. Getting bigger. And then we got a little small cash game. 25, 50 cent cash. Not so small, actually. You can make a living from it, just about.
And you can lose enough as well, if you want to.
And a $300 free roll. Multi-table.
Yeah, we'll dip into that and we'll show you the final table. As Malcolm says, $300 for nothing. With a first prize of $75 for nothing. Can't be bad. I've heard worse.
Yeah, you can't beat a free roll.
I can't play in free rolls.
But I can remember, I could, when I first started on the net, and I had no idea anyway of how to even work a computer. I played free rolls a hell of a lot, you know.
Yeah.
But I've noticed some of the free rolls I played in the old days with 2,000 runners, and now got 6,000.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
And 2,000 was enough. I remember beating 2,000 players for $40. It's like winning the World Series.
Guys, I've got to point you the way of tomorrow's show. We've got a tournament tomorrow night, which is going to be worth watching, because it does have quite a unusual first prize. Tomorrow night's multi-table tournament. First prize is a chance to win a seat on the FHM Poker Tour. Now, Malcolm, your eyes and ears have pricked up. Basically, it's in Norway, and the prize is a night's accommodation and flight, And the dealers are all FHM girls.
And I'm looking at 5 of them here on the computer. And I definitely...
I'm not going to get any work out of you now, am I?
I'm definitely going to go.
Malcolm's going to be playing. That's guaranteed.
Jeebus.
And they're just dealing. So that's tomorrow night, guys. If you're one of our lady viewers, well, second prize is $300 in your poker account, so just dump in the final. That's easy. We're going to have a lot of different games tonight, as I said. Get those texts and emails coming in. Start now, because we always get a lot every night. We never get through them. Start sending them now. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the address. I think we should probably watch some poker, shouldn't we?
Well, that's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for, aside from the banter.
Apparently.
We're going to try off a little cash game to warm us up, Malcolm.
Okay.
Not that
This
we
is
need
a 25.50, isn't it?
It is.
No limit.
And as you were saying, 25 cents, 50 cents sounds like a small amount of money, but you could make...
I know people that are getting by and doing okay, playing 3 or 4 at a time. In fact, I think there was an email from Loomis the night before.
Yeah.
Don't think he was playing much bigger, and he turned 500 in the 900. It's not bad, is it?
No, of course
in
not.
an evening.
Of course not. Guys, the maximum the players can put down is $50 on this table.
So already, Johan, who I've watched a couple of times, but I think is on there a lot, and everybody seems to have a good opinion of him. He's already ripping up the table.
Yeah.
Or they've ripped him up.
Well, he doesn't seem to
Even if they ripped him up, he's made a good recovery.
He has. He doesn't seem to make too many mistakes here, huh?
But I'm told he's pretty good. Who else do I know? Well, I can remember the I'm Not a Minger.
Cyberdoc's been with us
for
a long time. And Argyle Jack emails quite regularly. Send us one tonight.
He's
Argyle.
a new one for me.
Is he?
Yeah. Yep, the rest are new to me.
Well, let's see if he can pass this bad ace. He can.
Yeah.
So are you playing Hold'em or Omaha online at the moment?
Omaha Hilo.
Still.
And 7 card stud.
Are you playing stud online?
Yeah, I like stud. I always liked stud.
Uh-huh.
From 40 years ago in the Vic, every afternoon, great 7 card stud game.
It's like pot limit game.
Yeah. Still the best players, the ones that are alive, they're still the best players at 7 card stud.
Yeah, I played 7 card stud limit in America for a while, and then I can remember going to the Vic about 5-6 years ago and tried to play pot limit, and I was making money in Vegas playing stud. Tore me to pieces.
Yeah, I believe it.
Tore me to pieces. Yeah. Really high quality players.
That was a great line-up there every day. But I'm playing limit now on online. But I mean, they play so badly, some of them.
Do you think I think you've talked about this before on the show, but do you think games which aren't Hold'em, like high-low and like stud, are more profitable now because people know more about Hold'em, but they still play the other games worse?
Yeah, I mean, there's most people come into the internet playing Hold'em.
Yeah.
That's what they. But then they get bored and they move into other games. And there's no doubt about it, Omaha Hilo, you do feel you're in the action all the time.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a fruit machine where you put $10 in and get $2 back. And I mean, I've seen people on there and I've seen them live especially, they're so excited because they get something back out of the pot.
Right.
You know, they get a quarter back out of the pot. But it's because they're drawing. Whereas at Omaha High or whatever, you can go for a long spell, nothing's coming back. It's almost like a fruit machine.
Yeah,
they keep getting a bit back. Yeah. And it keeps people in the game. But as far as a pro's concerned, the downside's so much less than the other games. You know, I mean, you usually got half the pot locked up with a free shot of the lot. I mean, things can go wrong, obviously. But as far as I'm concerned, for a professional, it's the best game. The best game as far as risk is concerned.
Because you tend to have more of a safety net. You tend to be,
you've got a safety net.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And until you play against good high-low players, you can get by on good hand selection, can't you?
Yeah, you're dead right. You know, I mean, I've played on a particular site, and there's a couple of players that I've obviously realised now. One of them is from Florida, 5th Street Pimp, some name. But this guy can play.
Really?
You know, so I just keep well clear of him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and he probably does the same with me. You know, if he's in the pot, if you haven't got the best hand, he certainly has.
Right.
Or he's drawn to a better one. So I keep clear of him. But it's becoming very popular now on the site that I'm playing on. There used to be one game 6 months ago, now there's 4 all the time. So it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's worth. I mean, obviously, if many of you out there are playing Hold'em and you're making money and you're enjoying
Don't
it,
change.
don't change.
I promise you.
But Omaha High-Low is a game I enjoy as well, and it is well worth learning.
See, the other thing is, there's not so many books, not so much advice on it.
There isn't.
Whereas, as you know, the average Joe can pick up a book and, provided he's reasonably intelligent and can take it in, he can go on and have a pretty good grasp of the game right from the start. Omaha High-Low, there's a lot of tricks to it.
Yeah.
And they're not obvious until you've suddenly lost a lot of money. In fact, even then they don't become obvious.
Yeah, like for example, Hold'em, usually you should be betting your good hand. You need a very, very favourable situation to slow play. Omaha High-Low is a trickier decision whether you should be pushing or pulling, isn't it? Whether you should be encouraging people into the pot or knocking them out.
Yeah.
It's more of a skill, I think. But yeah, it's an interesting game. No, Hold'em is the one we're bringing you tonight, guys. The most popular form.
We'll give these people our attention as they took the trouble to
throw themselves on our mercy.
Yeah. And he's got that one nicely. Oh no, there is an open-ended straight there.
There is, and he hasn't bet enough, has he?
And he hasn't, and he's encouraged him in. He's now going to pay the price.
Well, just as we were saying about, you don't normally slow play in Hold'em, that's why.
That was a dangerous flop anyway, wasn't it, with the 2 diamonds there as well?
It was. And now he's bet the end, where he's only going to get action if he's in trouble.
Which I expected him to do. And now he'll pay him off. Did he pay him off or did he pay him?
He did, he paid him off, yeah.
Yeah. Now he might have a chance to get it back again this time. 2 ace kings. That might well go to war. The trouble is they're going to be the only 2 in the pot.
Amazing often we see that, Malcolm, in these games where people have a good hand and they bet it, but they'll bet such a small amount that they're actually building the pot for the draws and, you know. And then if somebody hits, they'll complain. That
would have been interesting, because there was a king-jack on that table.
There was.
And he would have scooped a nice pot against
Well, this is interesting now.
Oh, no, the 10-9, the worst hand's going to win this. And it was a middle pin, so it's not obvious that it's a straight.
Oh, wow. And he's got paid.
That's incredible. I want to play in this game. Very nice. He wouldn't have got the money off of me in that one.
No, he's check raised all in there, and both the ace kings have paid off. Now, the first one's not great. The second one certainly can't call. And we've actually seen Cyberdoc go broke twice while we've been watching, which is not healthy. That's something we don't actually talk about that much, Malcolm, because you don't see it too often, but overcalling, when somebody's already called all in, and you've got to make a call, you need a very strong hand in that situation, don't you?
All the time. And for the few times that you put the winning hand down, you'll still come out a winner by passing.
Yeah, that's a very important point, yeah.
But in that particular one, the flop was there was a lot of betting. You'd have thought either of the ace kings, they've got to start thinking, they're playing their own hands. They've got to start thinking, what am I being called with?
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah, they
And that's the time to take your foot off the pedal.
Well, one of the things I end up saying a lot on this show is that how you play top pair is a good test of a Hold'em player, especially a big bet Hold'em player. And if you can't put it down when you get resistance, you're going to lose money, I'm afraid.
Yep. Right, we're back again. Oh, my friend's back on.
Snap it.
Yep. Snap it. Hero of the moment. I shall say no more. Love the way he plays. He's a lovely man, you know. Did you have a chance to meet him?
Yeah, I met him when he played in the live final.
He's come to my, one of the local games in the casino that I set up, and he's just a lovely person.
Yeah.
Lovely person.
Good evening, Ken. Do write in, send us an email. What's on your mind? How are you running at the moment? We would like to.
Well,
know.
he was running. He's having a tough spell. He wasn't doing so well. He was under a bit of pressure, and then a few things went his way, and I hope that's the turning point for him.
Well, it's an enterprising call by Poker Epic, and he must be a little bit psychic. Call Razor 6-8 and see 2-8s come down. That's
So I have to carry on for a minute. I just made a terrible mistake. Looked straight up at the camera lights. At the moment, I can't see it.
Malcolm's blinded. Can we have the medical team in the studio,
okay,
please?
I'm okay. Kiss of life, please, from Joe.
I thought I was going to have to do it. I was about to resign. Poker Epic takes that one down with 3-8s.
Yeah. 50 cents, it seems so easy, doesn't it, to play every hand? But it is relative.
It's relative, yeah, that's right. It's a big blind.
Mm.
Pretty good flop
That's
for a pair
not,
of
yeah,
hands.
I mean, I'd be happy with that flop,
Mm.
with all those callers. Not very happy with that.
No, well, Ill's got 2 pair now, but how much will he like it? He's going to find out.
That's not too clever the way he played that so far, the pair of 8s. Did he bet on the flop, the pair of 8s?
No, he
No,
didn't.
that's what I thought, yeah. That was the one time he should have bet.
Yeah.
Now he's up against a flop that looks horrible. And even worse for him now. And if he thought he was in front before, he can't think there's any difference now. And nothing's changed really from when he called the bet before. Not really. I mean, we know it's changed, but not much. Still behind. Yeah, he's going to give a long dwell and pass. Don't know why he paid it too.
No, exactly. And it's like you said, you know, seems easy to take a card off or whatever, but that's 4 big blinds, you know, that he could have saved. Didn't need to do that at all.
Should have bet the flop.
Yeah.
Find out where he was. Well, he'd probably won it then.
Yeah, 10 high flop, pair of 8s. A lot of the time you've got the best hand in that spot, haven't you? A lot of the time.
Nice flop for the pair of 10s.
I keep going out of tournaments like that, I must stop it.
Doing what?
Low flops with a pair of 10s.
Well,
I say
you
keep,
do,
I've done it twice.
You do what he does, put the bet in. You get quarters at happen by 2 overcards. Now he has to think a little bit. But he's done all right, he's gone through with a solid bet again, and now he's got to put the ace queen down, hasn't he?
You'd hope so.
Cool, I'm definitely going to play in this game when I get back home. Well, if he loses this to pair, that's another perfect. Well, he might start worrying a little bit that the guy had top pair.
He's committed though, isn't he?
He's committed then, yeah. Well, they just seem to be very happy to donate money at the moment.
Well, they just don't want to put hands down, I think that's the thing. And players do get scared about folding the best hand, but it's Amarillo Slim's thing. If you can't fold the best hand, you can't play. Sometimes you're going to put down a winner, but in the long run, when people bet, they usually mean it.
I've had people take the mickey and for many, lots of over the years about like, the fact that I play so tight and all that. But the key is putting big hands down, especially in tournaments.
Yeah.
You only get one chance, and my wife has a go at me sometimes. She sits behind me and I put her hand down. And, how can you put that down? And I explain to her, and most times, if the hand's shown, I'm right.
Yeah.
And if you're wrong, so you're all right. You've still got your chips, just carry on again.
Yeah.
But if you're wrong, you're out of the competition.
Absolutely.
And most big comps, if you talk to anybody who's won a big comp, during the competition they put a big hand down, and it saved them their chips.
Yeah. Kev still had straight flush draw on the flop there, and it waited till the river, but it did arrive and takes down a nice pot with the flush. Yeah, and it's, to be honest, a lot of the things that we see in these smallish cash games are not laying down big hands. It's very often top pair, and sometimes it's hands which are decent hands before the flop, like ace king, that people can't put down after the flop.
Yeah, or second pair, then they just keep
pair.
going through with it. And they just don't realise how tough it is to outdraw people.
Yeah, and I think one of the things, if you watch the show often, you'll see that actually there's nowhere near as much bluffing in poker as people think.
I know.
Is there? It's the fascinating
Competitions,
thing.
I think, especially now, there's a lot more
Yeah.
bluffing than there used to be. That definitely has changed.
Yeah.
Especially these young kids, they really are prepared to, if they smell any sign of weakness, they do stick it on you.
Yeah.
Whereas it used to before, it was very tight.
Yeah.
But in the cash games, no, they're playing with the nuts. When the money goes in, they've got a big hand.
Yeah. You've got to respect that. Guys, we're taking texts and emails tonight, and I'd encourage you to get yours in. Get to the front of the queue, sort of. It's easy to do. You can text us or email us. Here's the details. Text us poker and your question for myself, Malcolm, or just share an anecdote with us, whatever you like. Anything to do with poker. 84222 is the number on the text. Or for the email, it is, if you didn't know by now, poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And we are going to have a look at our multi-table tournament. We'll have a little look at it throughout the evening.
This is a $300
free roll. Yeah, it's our free roll. Let's have a look. I'm told we've got a good hand that we're joining in, so if it isn't good, blame my producer. I'll give you his name and number. Look at that. That's a 6-card straight flush.
There was a 7-card one up the other night I saw.
Well, don't spoil it, Malcolm.
No, I'm sorry, but I did. I saw a 7-card one. A picture came up of it on our site.
Really?
I was looking, yeah.
Wow. Well, there's the straight flush. It's probably the only one we'll be seeing tonight, I'd have thought. Pretty unusual. And he's going to be annoyed he didn't have more chips. So this is our free roll tournament, 100, 200 blind. So our chip leader there, Snick Snack. That's a huge amount of chips.
Yeah.
$200.
This is crazy. 22,000, 13,000. I assume the rest aren't playing. I guarantee the 345s, they're all sitting out. They've entered it and they're not playing. And that's the reason they got all the chips. They just stole all the blinds off them.
Yeah.
We'll see in a minute. So that's what's happening there. You couldn't have that big a gap.
No.
I wonder what they started with.
I can find out for you, he said, with undue confidence.
Well,
it will be 1,200 or 1,500.
Yeah. Well, well, if it's 1,500, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. Yeah, got some more chips from somewhere else as well.
Yeah, well, it'll be usual free roll form. Be pretty a lot of carnage in the early going, wouldn't there?
Yeah. To be perfectly honest, the standard in these free rolls are pretty poor.
Yeah, and if you've got the discipline,
not very instructive
no.
for people watching. This is not really the way you'll need to play Hold'em over a long period of time to make money.
Now, you said, and I think you're quite right, that nowadays there's a lot more bluffing in tournaments.
Yeah.
There's a lot more aggressive play, isn't there, than there was 10 years ago?
Unbelievable, yeah.
For the people out there that want to play well, how do you counteract that as somebody that wants to play good Hold'em? If people are being aggressive, what changes do you have to make to the way you play?
Well, I mean, I've always played real solid poker, but there comes a time when you have to put a move in, simply because you're getting short stacked. The point to do it is to do it before you get so short stacked that it's obvious.
Yeah.
So I have certain amounts I go down to, and then I'm going to make a move whatever happens. But by that time, I've picked the weak link on the table or the person I'm going to try to do it against.
Yeah. That's really good advice, I think. It's about...
I'm certainly not going to do it against a guy who's been seeing every flop and is chip leader and won't put his hand down. I'm going to pick somebody. I've picked the person or the people that I'm going to make the moves on.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't arrive. Somebody beats you to it, but that's what I'm targeting. But there still are other occasions. I played at Reading, and there was a person on the table, and I mean, after 25 minutes, it was pass, 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 and they could have been getting bad cards, but it was so obvious that they were waiting for a really big hand. Yeah. And every time it was checked round to me, and it was our blinds, I raised. I mean, I looked at my cards, but without looking at the cards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I knew that unless this particular person picked up a very big hand, I was going to steal the blinds, and it just went on all night. I did that.
Amazing.
Without ever looking at my cards.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it was, this person I could steal from, and the small blind, when he picked up his cards and looked at them, he was already pushing them towards a dealer, instead of pushing them in, which you do, bringing them in when you've got a hand. Yeah. So it was, I know I'm going to get past him, I've just got to get past the other one.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of, that's bluffing on a small way. But there's a lot of big bluffs now where people are prepared to put huge amount of chips in.
Yeah.
Take you off a hand.
We'll keep talking about that. We're just going to go to a one-table tournament, I think. We'll get back to the smarty table when it gets to the business end.
Yeah, because that doesn't look very interesting, quite honestly.
It doesn't, does it?
No, to be perfectly frank.
And we don't want
nothing in it. So then we're on a sit and go.
We are. $10 one.
I might learn something before I play mine.
Yeah, coming up at 11 o'clock, Beat the Presenter. Malcolm the Rock Harwood will be playing, and you can play against him if you get on there quick enough.
So they started here with 1,000?
Yeah. 1,000 chips and 8 players. Those of you who haven't seen the show before, the top 3 will share out the prize pool.
So we're back to one of these fast ones on here, because I remember the last time I came on, they were playing with 2,000 chips, and it was a lot better anti-structure.
There's, it's the same anti-structure, but it's the same blinds, but it's 12 hands per level with 2,000 chips. This one, the normal one, is 1,000 chips, 10 hands per level. So there's 2 different one tables.
Yeah, so this is the very fast one.
It is.
Yeah.
You want to get yourself on the
I do not.
2,000 chip one.
Any edge I've got disappears. Yeah, I only got the 2,000. Yeah. Any edge a good player's got disappears on this structure.
It's very quick, isn't it?
Yeah. You got to hit cards in these quickly.
Yeah, you need to tell Casper that, because he keeps saying that his wins in these one tables are all skill.
I mean, there's no question. I mean, I've watched him, and there's no doubt about it. He's got a fantastic grasp of the game. But for the run that he's had,
it's been crazy, isn't it?
You've got to be lucky, haven't you? You've got to be lucky as well.
He's a very good one-table player.
But he is good, yeah. I don't particularly want to run it. I would definitely, if I clicked onto the table and saw him on there, would promptly move to another one. That's another thing, people do have ego problems, where they automatically want to sit in with the best players. And if you didn't know how to make money, why sit in with the best players? You have to face the fact that sometimes players are too good for you. Look for another game.
Unless you're Larry Flint, who plays in a stud game and basically pays the professionals money, effectively, just to play with them.
Yeah. But if you're that well off, you're not playing to win.
No, you're not. But yeah, you're absolutely right. People want to play. They want to play at a level that they perhaps shouldn't, don't they? It used to be a much bigger problem. I assume it's much easier for people online not to play at a certain table. Live, it always used to be a problem, because if you played at a certain level or in a certain game, if you then went to play in a smaller game, people would have problems with them, not other people. Like say you're playing a certain game and you're getting beaten up, or you were losing money or whatever, and you drop down to play in a smaller game.
Yeah.
That can be, difficult for people if they're having to go to the same club or the same casino. But online, there shouldn't be any
Well,
element
this is the
of
whole
that,
point.
really.
You say it's no online, nobody knows anyway. But if you're really going to go about this business properly, you mustn't have an ego problem.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've always been. I've never been aggressive player, which is probably why I do so poorly at Omaha. But I've set out to make a living years and years ago. So I've always managed my money, and I've always been quite happy to be a larger fish in the pond, rather than play with the big boys and be the small fish. Never been a problem for me to play in the smaller games.
Yeah.
It means your bankroll is not at risk, and I'm playing against players that are probably under pressure with what they're playing with. And that's a big edge when you're playing against players that are already under pressure.
Absolutely. I mean, the great
Never
thing...
mind the cards, just the mere fact that they're probably playing with frightened money.
Well, you can't do it, can you?
And if I went into some of the bigger games that were available in the old days at the Vic, they could have wiped me out, some of those guys. They could have wiped out 10 years' work in 2 nights, the sort of stakes they were playing for. Some of them were terrible players.
Right.
But you needed a bankroll to better take them on.
So me and James were talking about bankroll on Sunday night, and it can overtake everything else, can't it? Because if you haven't got the bankroll to sustain a loss, somebody gets lucky against you in a big pot. It doesn't matter how good a player you are, it's irrelevant. If they've made a big dent in your bankroll, you're in serious trouble.
Yeah.
A great thing now, of course, is, I mean, I know you multi-table, don't you, online?
Yeah.
And that's great because you can have the same edge, but
Well, spread out for
parlay up your edge, basically, can't you?
Yeah. And it's not so boring.
No.
Because, I mean, I do play ABC poker, virtually.
Right.
I don't do anything extraordinary. I just got masses of patience, and I wait, and it just gives me 4 more chances, and it stops me from getting bored. I mean, I wouldn't. There's 7 cards still. I wouldn't multi-table because it's impossible for you to keep track of the cards.
Yeah.
But when you're playing Hold'em, it's ever so easy to play 4 tables.
Yeah.
Even though we're high low, I'll play 3 tables of it. Well, probably play 4 really. Yeah. But no limit Hold'em, I think you've got to be a bit careful with no limit Hold'em. I think multi-tabling. I know people do a lot, but you've got to be aware of who's coming and going.
You have, haven't you? And you do. I mean, I think it's a trade-off, and I think that anyone that says they're not diminishing their edge by multi-tabling no limit Hold'em is being a bit dishonest, because you've got to know when a player makes a bet, you've got to know whether he's the sort of player that'll make a move at a pot, or he's the sort of player that'll be. And if you're playing 4 tables, you can't possibly know.
No. And there's people coming into the game all the time, and unless you're a genius, you can't even spot that the guy that was playing in seat 3 has suddenly been switched over to another one, and it's your turn to act. You haven't got time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know one player very successfully plays 6 at a time, and he's like a machine. He's unbelievable. I've watched him. In fact, I've seen him playing 9.
Really?
I know, it's just beyond me.
That's silly.
And he's a winner. He is a winner.
But I would say he's got, if he played 2 tables, he would have a bigger edge on each table, because he would have more information, but he's good enough that his edge isn't wiped out by diluting it a bit.
I haven't figured out how he does it. You know, to me, I think when you get a 9, you're giving a massive amount away.
You must be.
Yeah? But, and this is big money he's playing for. And it's not a flash in the pan. He's 2 years now. That's reasonable. Over 2 years, he won a chunk of money. So
2 years playing that many tables, that's 5 years playing normally, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's big money. And I don't think he's the only one. But I don't know how they do it. It's beyond me.
Yeah, it's a skill. And if you're playing out there, or you like to play online, you know, we would encourage you, build up slowly and be honest with yourselves. If you are playing 2 or 3 tables for, you know, and you're trying to play your multi-table, if it is affecting your results, you know, you don't have to do it.
No. Well, it's not something that I'm saying to somebody do it. From my point of view, it keeps me interested in the game, and it enables me even more patient.
I've got an interesting one here, Malcolm. We've got aces against jacks.
And they both got chips. We could have a car crash.
We could, the jacks, well, depends what the aces do, doesn't it? If the aces just call, then the jacks could get saved by the flop.
If there's no other call, oh no, now the aces has probably got to do something now.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
would you call here or would you move in here?
Well, having got two of them, I'd do what he did.
Yeah.
It's a nice chunk in the middle already, and he thinks he's probably going to get called by one player. He's going to let the jacks off here. So we'll let, it didn't let him off.
No.
They're really going for this one, aren't they, see? Open-ended, but if a jack comes, that's it.
Well, there you go, straight.
Yep.
Jacks have got lucky.
Jack had come, he'd have had the straight, the king, queen. Well, the aces didn't do a thing wrong there. I certainly wouldn't have called with the jacks.
No.
Not after a re-raise and all, and I'd let that go. But
yeah. Your absolute best case scenario with the jacks there is that one has got a pair of nines or tens and the other one's got two big cards, and even then you're
well, he ended up having to do, he had to hit a jack, and that, as it happened, if he'd hit a jack in the end, he would have lost to queen, king. Yeah, that was the only way he was going to win it.
It was, wasn't it? It was his only out.
Virtually.
So that's the way it goes. And he's won tables, and
what's his name? Sod 001.
That's what the other players are calling him just now.
Hmm.
Probably in quite a loud voice.
Well, the players that are left in are probably very pleased because now he's brought them that much closer to the money.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I'm struggling myself, I always want one person to get all the chips.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy for one person to get massive chips. So he took one player out and they took two players, no, he took one player out, didn't he? And left another one very short. They're all playing for second place at the moment.
Yeah, it could change, but right now...
Well, it will. It always does, doesn't it?
It does.
Very good, these graphics, aren't they?
Big improvement, I think, definitely. Yeah. Much clearer. I hope they're better for you at home. They certainly look better to us. They've got little seats where the people sit. Brilliant.
And nowhere for him, no table for him to have a drink.
Disappointing, isn't it?
That's good though, it makes it so much clearer. Yep.
That's a big raise by the jacks. Oh.
They're certainly going out, not hanging about on this one.
See, that move made by Davy Chelsea makes no sense. It's one of those things we see quite a lot. Yeah. He hasn't looked at the other guy's stack. He can't fold. He's put in half his stack.
That's right. In fact, he almost told him that I'm not passing.
Yeah.
But I bet. So he could have seen the flop, see if it was any good to him, and still had another shot. Not good play. And he couldn't have believed King 9 was in front.
Well, nice for Alva Packer. He's going to have to hope Big Shan bluffs at this.
He's done the right thing. That's nice. Played that well. He's managed to nick another 160 out of him. And he's just flat call. Maybe he thinks the guy's pot committed now. Yeah, he thinks it now. If he's really smart, he throws this away and has one more shot. That's right. I'd have flat called that.
Yeah.
And checked it again. No danger, was there? It's that flop.
No.
See if we could get him to put one more bet in. Tried to have milked it. Not so easy for him, this one, because he's got the big stack there. Probably thinks he'll call him with anything. Did the right thing there, I think.
Yeah, he's still got
even though we could see he was in front.
Yeah.
He's got another round to go now. He's got past his blinds. And let this one go as well, if he's smart. Now, I can't understand that, really. Passed just now when he had one player. Nick? Sorry.
Yes, mate.
Oh, sorry. He passed just now when he had the big blind to beat.
Yeah.
with a king 7, and that time he decided to go all in against 2 players. It's worked.
There's no logic there, is there?
But it didn't make sense.
No.
He still had to get past a big stack. Anyway, it came out right for him.
Yeah, but it's not.
But it didn't
it's
make
not right
sense.
thinking, is it?
No.
Not logical.
A king against 1 player, he's probably favourite. Against a 2, he's more like the underdog.
Yeah.
And a lot more chance that one of the 2 are calling.
Well, I think Jesus High might view this as the time to put his chips in. He's not going to like what he sees if he does. No,
2 more hearts. Oh, that was a great pass, wasn't it? Why does he done that? 5 runners, playing for 3 spots. He's still so short. It was a job to believe it. He did pass them, but he might have done things very well.
He's got no fold equity though, has he? Because
No.
Alfred Packer must call this, you'd have thought.
I would want to call it with 10-8.
Well, he's got 3-1 on his money, and he's still got a few chips left when he calls. It's actually a mistake if he passes, eh?
Yep. He didn't. He's got a bit like I thought. But he hasn't got any outs now. Hardly. None.
None?
Dead. Hit the 10, but dead. But he's still all right. Still got 640.
Yeah.
It'd have been the wrong move to have passed.
Definitely would have.
Wasn't that big an underdog as it turned out.
Watching a $10 one-table tournament, guys. 3 of these players are going to go home with prizes. I'm Nick Wealthall. I'm here with Malcolm Harwood. We're taking your emails. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. As Alfred Packer runs into a monster, unluckily for him. Nothing wrong with what he did there, was there?
No. No.
It's one of those things, isn't it, if you run into a big hand?
Only 3 spots. 3rd spot's got 1,500. Got to start making a move now anyway. Same with... no, it's a little bit different. He could hang about just a little bit, this Hayes. I hope one of the other 2 clash. But it's not going to happen this time. I think these 3 might just sit now and wait for...
Well, they should do, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
They should do.
Yep.
Well, he's made a good move there. He's only got 1 player to beat.
He doesn't want to diminish his 1,300 terms. That was okay. And he got the best hand again this time. Doesn't know it, but I like it, what he's done. Trying to get heads up.
Well, that's an interesting call.
And he's unlucky this time, the looks of it. Yep.
Yeah, we've seen some players do the right thing and not get the rewards.
Haven't got anything out of it. Neither did Darman, didn't he? So they're in the money. They're in the money.
I don't think Sod 001, it's quite funny. I think he's played a hand for the last.
Well, he won
10
them with
minutes.
those. He won with those jacks, and he never really had to, did he?
No, makes a lot of sense. You got enough chips to make the money.
But now he's got to start playing. He wants to get any further. He can't sit back at these antes. They're coming round so quick.
I don't like calling there. Calling out of position.
Bad play up.
Yeah.
And if you try, yeah, that's it. And he's got to. This is a tricky one for him, but he's got to bet it. Yeah, I like that. No messing about.
And this is
Really dangerous for him it was, but he went for it hook, line and sinker there. He wasn't going to let him have a draw.
we've got a competitive tournament all of a sudden. Stacks are
Yeah.
quite equal now.
Well, I don't think Sod 001's going to win this.
Too defensive.
Well, he
too
played.
passive.
No, I think he played
Too rubbish.
badly and got lucky with the jacks. Didn't he?
He's too rubbish.
Well,
Bless him.
Yeah,
that's true.
Having been very cruel to a guy called Clown on here a few months ago, and then regretting it afterwards. I thought I was a bit too harsh on him. I had a lot of comments on the forum.
Really?
I'm not going to be quite as cruel as I can be.
Well, we're here to help people's play and bring them on. Sometimes,
Yeah,
Malcolm,
but
you have to be cruel to be kind.
but I'll
Sometimes the stick, the rod.
It did stick in my mind afterwards that I wasn't very kind to him. he didn't play very well, but I wasn't very kind to him, and I haven't seen him on since, so I'd regret it if I put him off playing. So just sort of rein back a little bit on my normal, you play Dan, terrible. Right. Neck and neck.
Yeah, it's anyone's tournament. I mean, the antes are big now. They're only going to get bigger.
No, they're going to be too strong for this guy, I think.
Well, Big Shan doesn't look like he's afraid to put his chips in, from what we've seen.
I think they're going to be a bit too strong. They're going to have to find Solo 001 to win this. And the antes, you know, he's going to be okay here. So pick up the antes, you're back in it. Yep, straightforward that was. Not much coming out. The Braves, you've got to be the brave player now to pick up these things. You'll be given that one probably, yep. Nice when you have a walk when you've got 3-9 off suit.
Yeah, a walk at this stage is
And again, this
really
is amazing.
valuable.
It's some real rubbish. So they're really having a gamble a bit. He'll make a move on this one with his ace he did before.
Yeah, and I wonder if Sod will have had enough and go, oh, sod it.
This is
Put his
tricky
chips
for
in.
him, and he's got away with it.
Well, that's twice he's done that, and really, he's better off moving in before the flop, but on this occasion...
He might have to call him now. Oh, no, 2,000 chips, I'll let it go. I don't go for a middle pin.
Yeah.
He's still got more than the other player. He's still got second place wrapped up. Yeah, that's well done, Big Shan. You didn't go alpha leather. Yeah, he's definitely playing for second place, THO08. That's it, in you go again. I like that one, that was okay. That was enough, because if you got no hand, he's going to pass, and you still give yourself another shot. Or you could nick it on the flop, leave you 1,000 or still it if you done it.
Yeah. That's one of those decisions for THO08. Bad cards, but probably a situation where he's got to play.
Well, he got himself in that position, didn't he?
He did. Too defensive. And in playing for second, he's pretty much guaranteed finishing third, which he's done.
I mean, unfortunately, the antes are pretty high, but I think Big Shan's... I'd take Big Shan to beat this guy every time.
Well, I'm going to take Sod because, A, his name's funny, although obviously it means a clump of earth.
As it happened, it's all in job.
Whoa, did Big Shan have to call that?
Yeah, I like
I think
to
he had
think he
about
was
2,000 left.
He probably could have let it go, but he decided. He got second, and he decided to gamble. Not very happy with that. I think I could have waited one more.
Yeah, especially because
And Sod hadn't been doing that much.
No, he'd been able to push him around a bit, hadn't he?
Yeah.
You'd have thought he'd have folded it.
Yeah, I mean, he knew he was a long way behind. He must have known he was a long way behind in that hand, and he had enough chips to wait another go.
Yeah. Guys, thank you for the emails. We've actually not got too much time before the break, but I'll do a very quick one, which is from Andy, who says, great evening for poker as usual. Got a question regarding sit and goes. The site I'm currently playing, there are two different... Hello, Andy, by the way. I'm so rude. Two different sit and goes at my level. One's a standard type with the blinds increasing every 8 minutes. One's extended with the blinds increasing every 12 minutes. All other things being equal, which format do you think will be most profitable to play? Well, I think all things being equal, they'll be of equal profit, but the one every 8 minutes will have a lot more variance for you. That's about the case, isn't it, Malcolm?
I think if you're a good player, the 12-minute one will give you a greater profit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Never mind the variance. I just think you've got more time to use the edge you've got.
Okay, there you go, Andy. Play in the 12-minute one, that's what we're saying. Guys, keep the emails coming in. poker@pokerlive.co.uk. Great response so far. We do need more this Tuesday night. Also, stay tuned, because after the break, I can promise you a Poker Night Live first, a piece of TV history right here in the studio. See you in a minute. Welcome back to Tuesday night's Poker Night Live with me, Nick Wealthall, and Malcolm the Rock Harwood. Now, before the break, I promised you a piece not only of Poker Night Live history, but of TV history. because it's here actually.
You're going to be very disappointed. I was so excited.
Shut up, Arlo, it's brilliant. It's our first ever cake. No?
It's like being on the cricket, John Arlett.
Well,
you remember John Arlett?
I do. And can I tell you what the background is to this? I've been doing this show for about a year.
Yeah.
For the viewers, it seems like 3. And I've been asking for cake, like they had on Test Match Special, for about 11 months of that year. And finally, I've got a cake.
Who
Very
sent
excited. It was sent in by Bag Lady, also known as Pam. And I had the very good fortune to meet Pam, good evening, 2 weeks ago down at the Gut Shop. And she's a star, and she's proved she's a star by making us a cake.
Well, that's fantastic.
It's brilliant, isn't it?
And I'll tell you what, I'm getting really hungry.
Yeah, well, you just easy, Tiger.
I'm getting very hungry.
We're going to have a little bit. And
I wonder if she's putting anything in it.
Currants.
Could be interesting
Couldn't
later
it?
on in the show.
We're just going to take it on faith and eat it and see what happens. I'll tell you what, the sender in of the best email
and
can
cake.
Well, she's already won all the competition,
okay,
hasn't she? The sender in of the best email tonight can have whatever's left at the end of the night, which will be nothing. Thank you very, very much, Pam. You don't have to send in a cake to be on Poker Night Live, but it helps. I'm hoping this starts an avalanche. I'm hoping this is the snowball that starts the avalanche.
Shop outside on the steps.
It would be brilliant. If there was a cake every night we came in. Guys, that's the pattern we're setting. Do get in touch tonight. Easy to do. Text us, 84222, on screen for you now. Or email poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. And somebody that's done that is What's Up? What's up, as the kids say.
What's up?
What's up? He says, thanks for the talk about Omaha High Low, a game I love. A question about seat allocation online. I thought it was random, but I've changed my views. The last 4 evenings, I've played in a 2,000-seater free roll for your sins and been allocated a seat with the same 2 opponents at my table. Well, this is great for me because I take notes on every opponent I play. This cannot be the ethical for the site to do this, can it? Well, I'm not quite sure what they gain by it not being random.
I think it is random.
It is random, isn't it?
I've been to the headquarters of a couple of sites where they do the seating allocation, and they've got no control.
Yeah.
And the particular one I went to their anti-collusion to see how it all worked and different things, and I don't think that they pick out anybody for any particular seats.
It's just funny online,
it's
isn't
just coincidence.
Because people can't see the cards or touch the chips. They're always just going to see, monsters in the woods, aren't they? They're going to see things which aren't there.
No, I think it's just a coincidence. If it happened 6 weeks in a row, I'd just give them a bell and ask them exactly what's happening.
Unless they're stalking you. Possible, isn't it?
No, the players can't be stalking them, can they?
Oh,
They would be in the cash game.
They could be in the cash game.
They
They're
could
not
be
in the
following
tournament.
him, but the tournament...
It's just random chance,
100%, as you say, it's nothing whatsoever to do with the side. What would they want to bother to put you on the same table for? You're imagining things.
Yeah, I'm finding it really hard to concentrate on the poker now because...
Well, I'd prefer it if you took the cake off and put it up there.
Sorry, Malcolm.
Because that is really making me hungry.
We're going to eat it. We're going to eat it while we talk. You'll be able to tell. Malcolm's going to play Beat the Presenter now against some of you guys. Wayne Wallace has emailed in. Thanks for this, Wayne. He says he thoroughly loves watching the show. Has played on Beat the Presenter twice, and he's 2 for 2 on the TV. Bragging, but well done. He wants to play you, Malcolm, and he says, because I'd like to put myself up against a really good player. Now, he's right.
He's obviously played you before.
Well, this is what he's saying, isn't it? Clearly, that's what he's saying. He's saying that people such as myself, TV's Casper Berry, James Brownie...
Casper would have beaten him by now.
Wouldn't he?
Wayne,
good luck in getting on the table.
What else does he say?
He says, can he play against you? He'd really appreciate the chance to have a good player and keep up the good work. He's going to try and get on Beat the Presenter. We'll see.
That'd be interesting. What's his name?
Wayne Wallace.
Wayne Wallace.
Thanks for that.
Be interesting. Thank
Guys,
you very much.
if you want to play tonight, now's the time, because Malcolm's going to log on so you can watch him. For those of you that are new to the show, what happens is Malcolm plays a live tournament online. You have a chance to either watch him play or try and beat him. And then at 12 o'clock, we'll watch it back and we'll be able to see all the cards, and Malcolm will tell you what he was thinking when he was playing. Probably
he was
thinking
at
about
all.
cake.
I was thinking about the cake.
Yeah.
The cake's got me now.
So we'll some top flight cake analysis in about an hour. While he does that, we're going to go to a cash game. Keep the emails coming in, vital importance. Either emails, you should either be writing an email right now or making a cake. Those are the two things that are acceptable for the rest of your evening. poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk is the address, guys. Let's go to our cash game while Malcolm logs on. Can we have a massive knife, please? It's not that we're not getting on, it's that we want our cake. So here's our cash game. Back with our 25-cent, 50-cent cash game. Yeah, and Harron's still ahead. He's gone back a little bit. Poker Epics come up.
Yes.
Got some big stacks on the table for a 25-cent, 50-cent game.
There's the one who's done well. Key Stealer.
He'd only just
Kev
logged on,
Stealer.
hadn't he?
Well, he was the one that got involved early on and lost a bet, so he's come back well.
If you play on a cash table, Malcolm, and you suffer a couple of reverses early on, do you top up or do you keep your short stack?
I always have the maximum.
So what do you go?
If
you lose a pot, you immediately top
I'm
up.
sat in with 100 and I drop to below 50, I'd always top up.
So half the stack and then you top back
never
up.
go less than half.
Yeah.
That's provided I got any money to top up with, but I have, because I always play at a
You
table
have.
that I have.
Exactly.
Fortunately, I haven't had to play with my case money for a long time. Horrible position to be in.
It is, but you should never be in it, should you? I mean, it's one of those things you do.
It can happen when you first begin.
do it early in
and
your
it can
career,
happen,
don't you?
if you get caught in a crooked game, where you can get wiped out.
And the other thing is when people play too high, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'll split pot here. Both players have the straights. Snap it hasn't gone anywhere. Looks like he's just been hovering around.
Yeah, he's probably got a robot playing for him.
Ah, yes, these robots.
Funny enough, there was a lot of talk about that a few months ago, 6 months ago. Every site, one on every forum. Haven't seen very much about it at all lately.
Well, one of the national papers got hold of it and said this is the end of online poker,
Yeah,
and it was
yeah.
the Daily Mail, I think. I can't remember what I think, but
But it's a topic that's disappeared over the last 6 months.
I just don't think it's very widespread at all.
Well, if I got them, they're not doing any good against me, so I'm quite happy at the moment. No, having said that, the last 3 months I've been really having to work hard to break even.
If you do hear any catering-related noises, I think we can unashamedly say we are having cake at the moment.
And we've got a gorgeous,
not even
waitress.
Yeah, when does she get here? Oh, there she is. Thanks, Joe. Don't cry. Apparently, we're making a lot of noise. I do apologise. We don't want to rub in the fact that we've got cake, but we have.
Good advert for Cadbury's. She'll get a box next week on the doorstep.
Malcolm, you'll lose your licence or something. Oh, wait a minute, it's our licence.
Oh, well, I'm on my way out. You've got a whole career in front of you.
Yeah, allegedly. Have you seen me do the show?
Just a slip of the tongue.
Yeah, meant to say Roundtrees. A straight draw for Poker Epic. A second pair for Ild. And just hopes and dreams for the others. This is Poker Night Live. Far too excited about having some cake sent in by a viewer if you're just joining us. It may seem irrational. I have been asking for it for almost a year. I'm Nick Wealthall. I'm here with Malcolm the Rock Harwood. We're here till 2 o'clock and we're here to help your games, guys. That's why the show exists. Any questions you've got about poker, about the way you're playing, whether you're an expert or a beginner, or if you'd just like to get in touch and tell us about the show, about what you're doing in your poker lives, what you do in your real lives, heck, we want to chat. It's poker@pokernightllive.co.uk as Poker Epic makes his straight draw and decides to check it, which is a slightly risky move, but he has got the bet out of Ild, so he can now raise him. Malcolm's about to start playing in the Beat the Presenter tournament, so you can watch that online, or you can still play him. He hasn't started yet, he's logging on. And Ild really doesn't have a hand here. I'm surprised he bet the river, to be honest. Funny move. Certainly can't call this big bet. Surely, can he? No, sir. One of those situations where he could have just checked for free, turned the cards over, and you'd found out where he was. You must be careful when you commit money on the river, guys. Poker Epic with the minimum raise. And Pool 8 Ball will probably re-raise. He doesn't, he just calls. Well, he has let the blinds in by doing that, but he won't mind that now because that's a dream flop for him. Top 2 pair. And he takes it down. Couldn't really mess about with 2 flush draws on board. 1 flush draw you might take a chance, I guess. 2 flush draws you can't mess about, and he doesn't. See, now I think that player's called Stevie Sex, but he's not, is he? He's called Stevie C, and he's put X's either side. Maybe it is Stevie Sex, let us know. I'm of course imagining it's a lady. There were ladies called Stevie in the 80s, do you remember? Anyone? Just me. Stevie Nicks was one. So I'm imagining, Stevie, that you look like Stevie Nicks did in the 80s. Is that fair? I suspect not. Johan Harren with the pair of 9s makes the raise. Now, Poker Epic, judging by the way he's played before, he'll definitely play this, and he's got a dream flop. Top pair and the flush draw. He's all over it like a rash. How is he going to check raise the turn, maybe? Johan Harren will probably bet again because of the flush draw. Well, Poker Epic missed the opportunity to bet anything. Great hand for him, just kept getting better. But he checked once and he checked twice. There's nothing too much wrong with that, but at some point you want to take the lead because a strong player like Johan Harren won't commit money on the river without having a monster. So he should have invested some money at some point. He should have taken the lead. If not check raising on the turn, which would, I guess, be the standard play, then certainly leading out on the river. I think he maximised that great hand he had. Well, this is a situation where, oh, look at that. They all folded top pair. How curious. I was just about to say Snap it might get bet off top pair because they also had top pair, but they decided to fold. Excuse me. That's real respect for Snap It's image, I think. I think that's quite a bad situation sometimes in Hold'em where you're in the blind and you have small cards and you flop top pair and it's like an 8 or a 7 or something. Because obviously you normally need to bet out. You can check raise, that's an option, but normally you need to bet out. And then if somebody raises, it's extremely difficult to know what to do next because obviously they could hold an overpair, something like a pair of 9s, or they could be just trying to bluff raise you with a flush draw. Four-way this time. We're still trying to get Malcolm the Rock, the legend Harwood, into a game. So if you're waiting patiently online, he's still trying to. We're still trying to sort out his log on. So he will be there very shortly, guys. I'm told. Top 2 pair for Kev Steele, and he does the proper thing, which is to just check it on the river. He knows that if he bets there, if Ild is waiting with the king for the straight, he'll be in trouble, whereas he can just turn over his cards and win it for nothing.
Bad news, Nick. Found out that James Browning's been plundering my account.
He does that.
And he obviously hasn't got a great record because I've dwindled. And now we're having to look for $20 and below.
Literally trying to scare up $30 for a buy-in. That's desperate, isn't it?
We're trying to get 33, but we've only got 30.
This is
He left me with 31.50.
Memories of your youth, Malcolm. I'm always staggered when you play on an internet site. I'm sure you've had this happen, and somebody will come in the chat box and ask for money.
I've seen somebody actually say, "Can you give me $5?
Can you send me $5? Can you send me $10?
Yeah, I've seen that, but
it's extraordinary.
Only once.
There's a bit of cake that'll make you feel better.
Is it permitted? Am I allowed to munch and crunch on TV?
Probably not, but
okay.
You know, we're renegades here.
Well, bag lady, I haven't tried it yet, but it looks gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you. Look at that bit of play from Johan Harren. Fascinating bit of play. Re-raised out of the big blind, Malcolm. Re-raised a razor in the cutoff with 8-4 suited, obviously doing it purely on, nothing to do with the cards, doing it purely on the player and figuring that he could make him put it down, and he was right. So Johan Harren's a player who plays very solidly, but then every once in a while, if he sees the right time against the right player, he'll make a move.
It's what we were saying earlier.
Yeah.
He gets a feeling for the table, and he picks his spot.
Well, that's another interesting one. Argyle Jack's got the overpair, great situation, but he's up against a straight flush draw. And now Ill's got even more outs. Because he's hit a pair. Well, that is missing hard, isn't it? He's got all sorts of outs there, and none of them came. He even had the best hand there, didn't he, on the flop? Straight flush draw against an overpair. So, interesting cash game. I hope you're enjoying it, guys. It's a lively cash game with a big mix of abilities, I would say. I mean, Johan Harren is a player who I think could play at higher money levels in terms of his ability to play the game. But we've also seen some quite dodgy calls as well and some slightly dodgy play. So, big mix of styles. We're going to fling this thing over to the multi-table tournament. I can make us go through space, look at that. And we're in. So this is the multi-table tournament tonight, and it's a free roll. Which means, exactly what it says on the tin, it's free to play. And we had 476 runners. We've now only got 25 left. Quite literally dropping like flies. Not literally, because they're not flies. You take the point. Only 25 players left. Across 4 tables, I presume. And the average stack is 22,000, which is pretty high. Blinds of 500, 1,000, so the average is 20 big blinds, so there's lots of play left. in this tournament, depending on how the guys play. Wowek, you can see there, is the big stack. He's on 73,000. Malcolm, you're in, finally.
At last.
At last.
I'm in on Casper's account. Will that make it easier?
Playing with Casper's money. So you can watch Malcolm play online while you watch the cash game in the background. Sorry, the multi-table tournament in the background now. It would help find you. Of all people, I should know. And there's $300 in this free roll. Not the biggest sum of money in the world, but it's all free money, which can't be bad. And there are some amazing free rolls out there. Got a great tournament tomorrow night on the show, guys, which me and Malcolm aren't doing the show, so we're going to be at home playing in it, because first prize is a flight and accommodation to Norway to play in the FHM tournament, where the dealers are FHM girls, many of which I believe Malcolm knows personally already. So Kings for Seven Oaks, and they're in a small blind, so this will have a bit of disguise about it. Couple of limpers to him, and he raises, and Wowek calls. Nice flop for the Kings. Obviously he'll be praying that Wowek's got a queen. Bets out, and Wowek should just pass this. Well, I think that's a dodgy call, to be honest. Unraised pot. I wonder if Bajanga will make a move on it. Well, he's flopped the straight draw, so he could definitely bet this. I mean, nobody raised before the flop. It's worth a pop, isn't it? Bajanga, Bojanglers, I call him. Close personal friend, don't worry about it. Well, nobody still has a thing to speak of, so whoever takes the first pop at this is going to win it. And I think in tournaments there's a lot to be said for betting first and asking questions later, frankly. And no one does take a pop at it. Now obviously everybody has different styles of play, and this may not suit your style of play, but I think the thing with No Limit Hold'em is there's a lot of fear attached to the game, and if you find weakness, it is often worth testing the waters. If a pot's checked round, it normally means nobody's got anything. Now obviously if you're going to start taking pops at flops, trademarked. If you're going to start doing that, then you need enough chips to do it. When you're short stack, that's not the style of poker you want to be playing. But if you've got plenty of chips in relation to the blind, then it's worth trying to pick up cheap pots. Seven Oaks makes the minimum raise with 10-9. And Danildo has kind of been invited into the pot. You'd think if Seven Oaks made a bigger raise there, he wouldn't have played from the big blind. As it is, he had 3-1 in his money with that Queen 7, plenty of chips, well within his rights to call, and he's hit 3-7. So that's the perils of making those minimum raises, which I think are becoming more and more, I don't know, fashionable. Can you have fashionable in poker? Most poker players couldn't spell it. But in terms of fashions in the game, this minimum opening raise is becoming more prevalent, but that is the danger of it. I'm not saying it's not a valid tactic, but you've got to understand that by doing that, you're offering the big blind 3-1, and that means the big blind can call with a lot of hands. And sometimes they'll call with a hand like Queen 7 and they'll hit. Queen has hit for Seven Oaks. Probably not going to get any customers though. We're going to leave this multi-table tournament after this hand, but we will be back and we'll definitely show you the final table, which won't be too far away because there's only 25 players left. But as you can see, they've slowed down a lot and they're at the business end now. It was all fun and games early on, oh yeah. And now there's hard cash at stake. Nothing like free hard money, I'm told. Don't know what that means actually. Got an email from Dave. Thanks for this, Dave. It's quite a long email, so I'm going to paraphrase it. Now, historically, when I try and paraphrase emails, it goes horribly wrong, so wish me luck. He said he started playing poker in January this year. He's enjoying it, and even though he knows it's far too short term, he is a winning player. His quotes, not mine. I seem to be doing well so far, thanks to tips I've picked up on Poker Night Live. That's good to know. And now he's got a scenario. You'll bear with me, because it's an interesting one. He was playing in the sit and go, second in chips with 5 players left. He reckons he had a tight image. The blinds are 150-300 and he's got 4,500 chips left. Second chip leader. So plenty of chips, which is obviously the first thing to note. So he doesn't have to make moves. He's on the big blind and he's got aces. Sing Hosanna, we will eat this Christmas. The player in first position with 3,500 chips put 1,100 into the pot. So that's pretty much standard opening raise. Folded round to me. And I know from his or her earlier play that she's fairly, he or she, very politically correct, well done Dave, is fairly tight. So I raised to 3,500, putting them all in, thinking I was happy to take what was in the pot if it was folded. The player called and turned over a pair of 10s, and he or she rivered a 10. Now, as you know, guys, I don't do bad beat stories. I don't need that. So it's not a bad beat story. Dave asked the question about his play. Could he have done anything differently? I have a feeling that I could have made the opposing player fold, or at least save some of my chips by playing differently. I'm sure that putting him all in or calling was the only option rather than minimum re-raise. Is there anything I could have done differently? Well, I don't think so, Dave. I think now I've thought about it. You have your gut reaction, and then you think about things, don't you? You've basically got 2 options. You're absolutely right. You either put them all in there and then, which is 3 times the original bet, or you can disguise your hand and you can call on the big blind and then check, and they will normally make a continuation bet, and then you can guarantee you get them all in. And I think it really depends on how you feel about how much of a risk you want to take at that point. Obviously, if you let them see a flop, you have the additional risk that they may hit that flop. Now, with your aces, it's reasonably unlikely you're still going to be ahead, but you are accepting that additional risk. I think probably at this stage of the tournament, in my opinion, with aces on the big blind, it probably is worth taking that risk because you want that bit of disguise and you want to guarantee getting their chips. The point is, in this hand, as I'm sure you know, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter how you play it. The chips are probably all going in. The converse argument, by the way, would be that you are probably more likely to get all of their chips in. It might be possible that you're more likely to get all of their chips in before the flop, depending on what hand they hold. For example, Your opponent there has tens. If big cards come on the flop, then that's going to slow them right down. You're not going to get all their money in. So it's a feel thing. There's two ways to play it. I think on this particular example, you haven't done anything wrong. You've just got unlucky in the hand. But thank you for the email. Good luck. I hope you continue to be a winning player. Mike's emailed in, and this is a highly significant email, from Bag Lady and Crumble's son. Bag Lady, as you'll know, is the Poker Night Live viewer of the month. And that is wrapped up. Don't bother entering for June. Glad to see the cake made it to you safely. It's good cake, trust me on this. I can now verify that. Malcolm, do you enjoy the cake?
Well, I haven't had much chance yet, but what I've had is great.
He's enjoyed the smell, at least.
You've had half of it.
Yeah, well, I'm a hungry lad.
That's why you put me on this Beat the Presenter.
That's exactly why you're on the Beat the Presenter. Concentrate, man. Two were made, and I ate most of the other one. Enjoy it all before it disappears. Keep up the good work. If you do, you never know, there might be more cake in it for you. Well, I hope so, Mike. I hope so. And I hope the rest of you out there are taking the hint. Cake not only makes us happy, but gets your emails read. What more incentive do you need? Guys, we're going to have a lot more time for emails throughout the show, so do keep them coming and keep us entertained this Tuesday night. Take advantage of Malcolm the Rock Harwood, who's with me tonight, currently playing a Beat the Presenter, and as you can see, enjoying a lovely bit of cake. He's earned it.
Some guy who thinks you're cute.
I'll tell you what I can get, frankly. Is it the pastel shirt, which I think I'm carrying off quite well?
Doesn't mention anything about the shirt.
It's an offer, isn't it? Guys, like I said, texts and emails is what we're here for. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the email.
Guy,
Malcolm, what's up?
Right, guy I think should be looking like Greg Rame as soon as you keep knocking back all his cake.
That's my goal, certainly.
And I'm afraid I'm upset. Can't find her. Oh, it must be an observer.
Your focus is in and out, Malcolm,
No,
I'll be honest.
I'm not really. I'm so busy watching the chat.
You're still in, and that's the key point.
Yeah, but it's.
Is it tight?
Not because I'm playing that well, I promise you.
We'll see how he plays. We will see. 12 o'clock, guys.
I'll keep sitting out because I'm too busy watching the cake disappear and trying to keep up
Look,
with this.
it's survival of the fittest, Malcolm. You get in, you snooze, you lose.
Fast Bandit. I'm a woman. I haven't got a clue what FFS stands for.
I know what FFS stands for.
Oh, so do I.
It says Fast Friends,
yeah,
Smile.
And she's a woman.
I think you're cute too, Fast Bandit, and I've never seen you in my life, but in here, you're very cute. We're going to get back to a game and end this nonsense. But do keep your emails coming in. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the address.
Anyway, I've upset her because I said we got a very glamorous waitress helping us, serving us. Obviously doesn't do anything for her.
Really? Well, give it a chance, tell her. You don't know till you've tried, do you?
Everything once.
Exactly. Back to this cash game, which we've been following tonight. It's been a lively one, and there's plenty of money on the table for a 25-cent, 50-cent game. Bearing in mind that the guys can only buy in for $50 as a maximum. You can see we've got everybody on the table, which is very rare, above that maximum buy-in. So several players obviously have been and gone and donated to these guys who are now playing what is a very big game for this limit.
Found out what FFS means now. It's for Farz's sake.
There you go.
I misjudged her. Yep,
tell her if she sends a cake in, I'm anyone's. It is that easy.
Jeepers, you do sell yourself short.
You say that.
You might end up with a tea cake.
Well, you only get to first base for a tea cake.
Ah.
Epic has flopped bottom pair with the horrible 6-3, but it's outrun ace queen.
You're right, this is tight game. Nobody gone. And it's one of these sprints too I'm playing. It's not one of these 2,000 chips to start with.
The Beat the Presenters can be very tight.
Just had a look, it's quite a good lineup. It's more like a World Series final.
I've got confidence you'll come through, Malcolm. I've got confidence you'll come through.
Well, if you left the rest of that cake and gave that as a prize, I might try.
I tell you what, if that table doesn't loosen up soon, I think you should start playing kings.
No, I've tried that before. It's not my game.
No.
Charwa's after me tonight.
This is Poker Night Live with Nick and Malcolm on Tuesday night. I hope you chilled out and having fun. Relaxing at home after a hard day, doing what you do. This is a cash game, and we watched it all night, and these guys have been building their stacks. And for the level of blinds, it's a very big game. And both these players are the same hand. The first one show a bit of aggression, might take it down.
Ah. Problem. Not so good.
Well, that's a straight for Stevie C. An unlikely one, but a straight it is. They all count.
Might not be shopping at Morrison's anymore.
What's down from Morrison's?
There's a guy here, Morrison's, keeps giving me a lot of grief.
Don't give Malcolm grief, because I don't want to have to put him back together again afterwards. Ace Queen for Earld.
Casper's not going to like this. I could be first one out. And I am, nearly. What happened to Christ, he called me? What? I don't believe it. Thank you, Gilbert. You're a friend of mine. You have a piece of cake.
Malcolm, don't let the cat out of the bag.
I know.
Top pair for Poker Epic. He's been hitting some cards tonight. I have to say, I think he's been playing a few too many hands, but he's been getting away with it in this game because he keeps doing things like that, hitting top pair, which is... if you can keep hitting cards, you keep hitting flops. Doesn't matter how you play, although of course in the long run that's going to catch up with you. Oh, and he's passed. My goodness. Well, value of aggression from Ild. He pushed him off top pair there. And really, I know we were talking earlier about playing top pair and sometimes you have to fold it, but you've got to define where you are. In Poker Epic's situation there, you should make a raise at some point and ask the question. If you get re-raised, then your top pair with an average kicker is probably in trouble, but it could just be that your opponent's is doing exactly what Ild was doing, which is trying to push you off with some high cards. This could be fun. Ace King and Ace Queen in the blinds. Anything could happen. Well, that's very unfortunate for Stevie C, but very good news for our old friend Snappit. Snappit can afford to just call here, doesn't need to raise yet.
All you have to do is raise on here and you win.
Malcolm's doing a bit of speech play over the TV.
I love it.
Snappit takes it down with his set. It turns into a full house. Nice hand, Snappit. We're talking about top pair. It keeps coming up there. Stevie C could have thrown his away. I thought Snappit raised too much there. He was probably worried about the flush draw, but heads up, you don't need to worry about it. I don't think, not unless you've got very good reason to. Stevie C's got top pair, he's bet out, and his opponent's come back with a big re-raise. Now, I don't know what he's worried about. Maybe he's worried that he's being bluffed off the pot, but that is a situation in which you can fold top pair with a lot of confidence, I think. I don't think Stevie C needed to lose that money. Again, another losing top pair, I'm afraid. It's not the hand to have at this table. 2 pair for pool 8 ball. Pool 8 ball doesn't want to bet it. Extraordinary. At some point you've got to bet that. We say this every night, or I end up saying it every night I'm on. Put some money in when your opponent can still improve his hand. Give him a chance to pay you off. It's no good all this trap checking right all the way down to the river, unless you're playing against a specific opponent that you know will try and bluff you on the end. You should normally bet your good hands. We're in poker to find profitable situations, situations which are a good investment for our money. And when you've got a good hand, that's the time to make an investment. And you hope that your opponent has got something to pay you off with.
Stupid. Silly Malcolm. Silly Malcolm.
2 pair for Stevie C. That's good enough. Well, Poker Epic's been playing a lot of hands, but surely he can't stretch to Jack 7 offsuit. He can, not only that, he's going to get jiggy with it, as the kids say. Or they used to say about 7 years ago now. About where I am, roughly 7 years behind, I reckon. And now Ild could well be pushed off these 10s. He is. Friendly pot here, all 6 of them, and not much really. Top pair for Ild, no kicker. And probably no customers, I'd have thought. Not that you'd want one with that kicker, obviously all kinds of dangers with that hand. He takes one down. And just to remind you, the most anyone can come to this table with is $50 at the start of the game. So all of these players, very unusual situation in a cash game, all of these players are in profit for their current buy-in. Now obviously we don't know their situation, they could be playing on other tables, they could have had 2 or 3 buy-ins before they got to this point, but at the moment they're all in profit. So for the level, for the 25 cent, 50 cent level, this is a very big game. And it's been a lively game as well. I hope you've enjoyed it at home. We've stuck with it because it's been an interesting one. And in the background, I've got Malcolm the Rock Harwood with me, who's playing in a Beat the Presenter at the moment.
I'm managing to beat the presenter, all right.
You're the one being the presenter. That's not good.
Ah. Have a shot at him. That's good so far.
Ninja training, you never lose it.
Got done in the river.
Malcolm's just won the tournament he was in, haven't you?
No, I just got beaten. No, I never even looked
I'm
like
trying
that.
to add some suspense so they don't know what happens.
Oh, okay.
No,
well,
it's
I'm
not
struggling at the moment. I just got lucky and stayed in.
How convincing was that? An email from Max. Thanks for this, Max. He says, great show as usual. I bet you haven't even watched. But it will get your email read out. Pathetic, aren't we? I have a question regarding cash games. I've been playing online no-limit cash games for around 3 months now. I've become a consistent winner at the 15.25p which is enough for a beano and a dandy, and 25.50p level. Sorry, I'm used to cents and dollars, so when I saw pence, I got all childish. And you've accumulated a bankroll of over £2,000. Well, that is excellent, I would say, at those levels. That's really good going. I've mastered this. I feel I've mastered this level of play, and I've moved up to the 50p £1 and £1 £2. Obviously, these are no-limit games. However, I'm not winning as consistently as I was before. Managed to just break even over the last 2 weeks. Should I move back to lower stakes games where I win on a regular basis, or tough it out in the larger games? I feel I should stay in the larger game, as it's the only way to improve, but I do miss the easy money in the lower stakes. Also, could you recommend some casinos that hold some cash games I was interested in playing live? That's 2 questions. Second one may or may not be answered. The first one, the first thing I would say to you is, why choose between the two? Why not split your time? Straddle, if you will, the limits. So I don't know if you multi-table, but say you've got 2 tables open at once. Why not have one table open at the limit where you're comfortable and you know you can win, and the other, which you know is a challenge? Or if you only play one table at once, play 2 hours at one limit, 2 hours at the lower limit. Don't feel that you have to, cut off from one and go and play in the other. It's perfectly acceptable to have a transitional period, and that will help your confidence, because you won't be under pressure all the time. Some of the time you'll be playing in the lower game that you're used to and hopefully winning in. I think you're right. If you feel that you're winning easily, you've definitely got a decent bankroll. What is that, 100? I'm not quite sure that your bankroll's big enough to play £1, £2 regularly, if I'm honest. It's probably just about all right to pay 50p a pound. But you've done well to build it up, definitely. The other thing is that over the last 2 weeks, definitely isn't long enough to assess whether you're winning or losing. That could be a lucky or unlucky run, 2 weeks. But good luck with it, Max, and that would be the advice, just transitional across the limits. Malcolm, I've got a question for you from Victor, who's in Birmingham.
This is going to be a wind-up. This is Sidewinder. Go on, carry on.
It's quite funny.
Go on, I'm sure it will be.
He says poker is a young man's game these days.
He should know, he's 70.
Do you think it's worth learning if you're in your 50s like me?
Your 50s went long ago, Victor. Having watched you play last week in the final of the circus, if you live to 100, you'll never play this game. Pack up.
There we are. Victor, he couldn't even be bothered to keep cake out of his mouth when he answered. That's how little he cares.
Yeah, nice man, Victor. Owes me 200 quid.
Does he? And he's still got the temerity to email you. Shocker. This is from Steve, aka Balrog, friend of the show. Good evening, Steve. He says, evening/morning, Nick and Malcolm. I've just played a $10 sit and go, and having heard it somewhere, probably on this show, I covered my cards on screen with a post-it note. Don't know if you can say post-it, so a piece of paper will suffice. Well, we said post-it, and we're hoping for a big free box of them. Post-it. From the bubble onwards and one. I appreciate this stage is a bit of a crapshoot anyway, but it certainly was a different experience. Is it advisable to try for a whole sit and go? Waste of time, good for a laugh, good idea. Well, I think people recommend that you try it from time to time to help your positional play, to make you understand that it's not just about what cards you get, especially in a tournament. I don't think it's a good idea to do it too much, though. It's probably nice to be able to see your cards from time to time, isn't it?
I think so. I did see us come up on one of the programmes. I was watching one of the programmes. I can't remember what presenter came up with the idea. But I don't think...
Try it once for learning, maybe.
Play it on play money.
Play on play money.
If I play like that on play money all the time.
There you go. That's the way forward. Guys, we've got to take a break, but after the break we'll see Malcolm's Beat the Presenter, and he'll analyse it for us. And we'll do lots more of your emails. Thanks for the great response. Keep them coming in. poker@pokernightlive.co.uk. We've still got 2 hours, would you believe?
I'm just going to apologise.
Cake and fun.
I'm going to apologise for eating the cake in front of the
viewers. Welcome back, boys and girls. This is Poker Night Live on Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. We're into the second half, and you won't believe it, but this is the better half. Who'd have thought it? I'm here with Malcolm the Rock Harwood. He's having a brilliant time, aren't you, Malcolm?
Oh, I'm very dejected at the moment. Yeah.
That cake's not settled
I've
properly.
managed to get focused tonight, right from the minute the cake came. And
I blame me.
I'm going to try and make the next 2 hours a sensible
Are you?
performance, at least from me.
Here we go. He's trying for some hardcore, sensible analysis.
Very difficult with you.
I apologise. Guys, we are taking your emails and your texts still. 2 hours, plenty of time to get your poker query right up. Take advantage of this man to my left.
No more from Victor.
No more for Victor. No more naughty wind-ups. But do ask whatever you like. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner. Doesn't matter if it's the first time you've watched a show. Whoever you are, we want to hear from you. Text us, poker. Your question to 84 and all the twos. Good Omar high-low board, that. 84, all the twos. Poker@pokernightllive.co.uk is the email. We're going to watch your tournament, Malcolm. You're excited about that, I can tell.
No, this is one I'm not too keen on. But anyway.
So who knows what will happen?
Just see. I'm interested to see what you say about this.
Let's have a look.
It was a bit of a... It went by in a flash.
Now, there were a lot of people, I think, deliberately trying to put you off in the chat box. Is that fair? It's not easy playing. He's there as Casper B, obviously, in seat 1. And you're right, it is like a World Series lineup of Poker Night Live. Lots of familiar names like Charwell and Angel. Johan Harron, of course, who we've seen doing well in the cash game earlier. And Gilberto. Good evening, Gilberto. How are you? Gilberto played in our Poker Night Live Viewers Poker Bowl special, which was a couple of weeks ago. Yet to be screened, but suffice to say, Gilberto enhanced his reputation. We think he's a pretty decent player, Gilberto, don't we?
He seems to be well informed in the game. It's very hard to decide whether anybody's a good player watching him just playing these sit and goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've watched him before on here, and he seems to know what he's doing. But there again, there's 3 or 4 more on here that I've watched before, and they all seem to be pretty good players. It was a good lineup.
And the hardest $10 tournaments in the world.
Yeah, it was an easy one. But disappointed when I got on and find out that it's only 1,000 starting chips.
The shorter structure.
I'd like to have played these players with a bit more time. Anyway, I really do need to watch myself here because it went by in a blur. I was trying to keep up with the chat because some of them are quite funny and not being the most, at least not being very fast on the computer. It takes me 2 hands to type a reply in, as you'll see, because I ended up being sat out twice.
We've all done it.
But they are very, very funny, they are in the chat.
Well, Battle of the Aces here.
Yeah, I've watched Charwell play before. I like the way he plays.
Yeah.
We've seen Joe, and we know he's good. Anyway, we'll see.
Well, strong play from Johan here. Gilberto just made up the blinds. He's taken that as a sign of weakness and raised. So now how do you approach these, Malcolm? Because obviously there's not a lot of time. The blind's going to go up quickly. So do you sit tight and wait for hands, or do you try and make some chips
Well,
early?
in this particular game, I didn't really have... It was all a bit of a rush, you know, getting on in the first place. I didn't really form any particular plan. It was on me. But I decided that whatever happens, I was going to play quite strong. I wasn't going to just sit there and try and be 4th or 5th. But that particular one there, I passed Ace Jack. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The reason was I was sat out and didn't realise it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but as it turns out, it works out wonderfully well for me because he hit the straight. So that's my first bit of luck.
Yeah, you'd be in a tough spot there, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that was my first bit of luck. But I was sat out. Just want to see how tight they really did play, the rest of them.
Well, usually these Beat the Presenters are tighter than even the normal TV tables.
Bit of fun though for $10.
And on the TV.
Charwell, when I finally started to concentrate, I suddenly noticed he'd lost a lot of his chips. And it might well have been in this hand somewhere he lost them. Gave that a lot of thought, didn't he?
He did.
Well, it doesn't look like it was his hand that he lost them in.
No, he didn't struggle, didn't he?
I remember looking and suddenly he was down to 300. I was completely unaware of where the chips had gone, which if you're really playing properly, you should be aware of what's happening every hand. And I was too busy watching you munch that cake. No, Charwell's got off to quite a nice start, had a few nice looking hands. Be in trouble in this one now, if he gets involved.
And he has.
This is maybe where he came there. No reason for him to come unstuck there.
That's a funny bet, that 20
Doesn't
bet.
really
Doesn't do
find
anything,
you
does
much,
it?
does it? Find
No.
out much. It's not like he's even trying to get a free card because he's not going anywhere with a hand, is he?
No.
Yeah, that's a strange one. I'm quite happy to check it. Somebody bet and throw it away. I haven't got a hand. Which he's now going to have to do. Yeah, nothing sort of bet, wouldn't it? Mind you, I think later on I'm guilty of doing exactly the same myself.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That gets stuck into me if I do.
Well, Torelli's made an unlikely full house there, but he's not going to get a call. He might get a... Well, he's not now, is he? He might be able to induce a bluff from Johan, but unlikely.
Not enough chips to induce a bluff. Oh, you might have done if you'd have checked. That was his only chance. A 10 jack here. What am I do with 10 jack?
Limped in?
Yep,
Fair enough, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, you're not in good position, so you want to see a cheap flop. And now you've got a bit of value.
Yeah. This is the only problem when you're playing with 1,000 chips. These 40s and 50s and 60s soon chip away at your stack.
Yeah.
You know, you really can't play too many funny hands, really. And then when you don't connect at all, you're gradually losing a few. But when you got 2,000 early on, you can play a few.
Right.
Well, like what cards I like to play, you know, the suited connectors and the ones that you could catch somebody for all their chips.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is, isn't it, with these faster tournaments, you're going to have to connect with some flops. You're going to have to make some hands, otherwise you're not going to go anywhere, are you?
No. You're never going to be able to keep stealing pots because in the end, people are going to have to call you simply because they're short of chips.
Yeah.
Becomes 5 cards. So far, nothing untoward has happened.
Except Johan Harren is down in chips. That's reasonably untoward, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean,
Very
nothing
unusual.
I'm just trying to, when you're playing yourself, you don't necessarily, you know when you made a really bad mistake.
Yeah.
But somehow or other, I felt as I was playing that this is not the way I play. Never felt in control of myself. So I just want to see whether I did really play badly. What'd you do here? I'll call it for 40. This one I played well, I thought.
And were you going for a check raise there, or were you just...
No, I wanted to see how you see now. I figure I'm in front.
Yeah.
I'd have called him, whatever happened. Now he puts a raise in. I don't believe him because he'd have bet a queen on the flop. And if he'd have bet again, I'd have called him.
Well, you sussed that.
So I think I played that one dead right.
Yeah.
Got the maximum out of the hand because he had no hand. Kept getting a lot of these cards, which I quite like.
Yeah, it's just, you're absolutely right.
In this game, because they're letting you limp in cheap with them.
Yeah, you just can't play them for too much of your stack.
No, now this one is where I think I've probably played it wrong. That was okay, I thought. Oh, I know he said about his 20, maybe it wasn't as something and nothing better, but at least I did have a hand. Now that's when I should have thrown it away. I was still having 1,000 chips. I've got involved, but now I've got very involved.
Well, now you've got a lot of cards to hit, I guess.
Yeah.
And he's given you a price to hit them.
Yeah,
So.
got to play. And I miss. So, yeah, a couple of hundred disappeared. Don't really think I did anything wrong there.
No, the only real decision he had was when he raised you on the flop. Whether to keep playing or not. Once
maybe I should have let the 40 go. But once I've hit the turn, I've got to pay the other one.
Yeah.
But by calling that 40 raise, it cost me 140. It's a big proportion of your chips here when you're only playing with 1,000. And the game's tight as well.
Well, it's been checked round twice. Morrison must think his king's good.
Well, that's reasonable again. See, it's very tough, isn't it?
Yeah,
there's
not exactly
nobody
a lot of
stepping out
value.
of line. There's
No.
nobody stepping out of line at all.
No.
A7, not bothered with it. But I known that was lying about. I probably would raise, but I'm not bothered with that one. But I suddenly hit a rush of hands here, and I'd like to see whether you think that I overbet them all.
We'll have a look. The Jan might raise here. He does. He raises all of it.
Yep. Like that, anyway.
Yeah, all in with the flush draw. If he gets called, obviously he's got outs.
I know one thing, Casper would have struggled with this in this game.
Well, you do need some cards. For all we talk about other things,
Yeah.
in a fast game like this. Over the long run, the good players are going to end up with the money, but...
Well,
in
not
one
necessarily. If it
tournament.
was a table like this, the house could end up with the money. The rate could be the winner.
Johann's going to raise this ace-jack. I wonder if King of Ying will play.
Well, I think he was the first one out, but it wasn't in his hand.
It's not a great hand to be calling a raise with, because you can so easily be dominated, can't you? Although Johann Harrod's in late position, don't know.
Yeah, very good pass. Has it happened? Keep getting tempting little cards, but that's not going to tempt me. I mean, normally at this stage, I'd be feeling quite comfortable with what I'd started with, but in a lot of sit and goes, you'd have two players out by now.
Yeah, it's a totally valid point.
Yeah.
Not only have we not got players out,
we've been playing it, but I look round, there's nobody in trouble.
There's nobody in trouble, is there? That's
Nothing's
the problem.
happened. So, So you're basically starting all over again when normally you've lost a couple of players, you start to change your strategy then. Or you can work out a plan of how you're going to proceed. But all that's happened at the moment now, we've been playing whatever it is, 10 minutes, and it's just made it an even faster game. Mind you, having said that, there's very little come out, is there?
Oh, that was a funny call by Torelli, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit strange. Now, see, when I started with it, I think a rush. Now, what would you bet here?
I don't know, 100, 120, something like that? 160 even.
I just wouldn't.
I think it's at the margins, it doesn't make much difference.
Well, I'm in early position. I tend to bet a bit stronger in early position with a hand that I'm not particularly enamoured with, ace-queen.
I don't like Charwell's call with sixes. I don't think he's got enough chips to do that.
The ace-king, I was up against it there, wasn't I?
You were unlucky, weren't you?
Well, you know, you still got to, you know that. Now, this is where I get trapped a bit. In fact, as it's turned out, I've come out now, I've seen the hand, I'm a bit unlucky here. I should have put a bet in. I did put a bet in. So I did everything right there at that time. As it turned out, this is the one that's killed, that's done me.
Well, you should win the hand here. Well, there you go, he's check raised you.
Yeah, I think this is my big mistake. No, I couldn't do anything about it, that was it. Killer card for me. But he had me beat. Nice play by him. Wasn't too
Yeah, it's
bad
a funny
for me,
one,
dear.
I don't know.
You know,
I don't know what...
he could have put his hand down there and I'd have been okay, but really can't see what else I could have done apart from put a massive betting on the turn on a draw.
Oh, I'd like an email from Morrison. It's poker@pokernightlIve.co.uk, Morrison, if you're watching, because I'm not sure what he was putting you on.
And he never raised enough to put me off. I mean, I'm going to play now anyway.
I mean, you could have been slow playing top set for all he
Yeah.
knows.
So I'm a bit, you know, it was strange playing, but anyway, he managed to get another 120 out of me. And there wasn't a lot I could do about it afterwards. And then he still banged it in again, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I called him. If I had had a top pair there, I'm sure I would have done. Anyway, now I'm in trouble a little bit. And this was interesting, because I thought I'd lost this. I found an inside straight draw. 390, I'm not going to pass now. Oh, and I know, now I realise why he called me. Anyway, I don't know why he called the ace deuce, but no, he was
well, I guess he figured you were stealing his big blind, didn't he?
Yeah. So I'm not going to pass this hand, so I might as well bet it. Still had a bit of fold equity, as James says. And as it happened, I was very surprised when the chips came rushing to me.
You thought you'd lost the hand?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just on the flush draw. And
so that was a nice surprise. And now I'm right back in the game.
Yeah.
But keep finding cards to... no, this one was a good pass. Raise in first position. I don't want to get involved with ace-jack, so that was okay.
Yeah, that's the pass you got to make.
Yeah, so far, it's not as bad as I thought.
It's like an exam or a job interview, isn't it? They're never as bad as you think.
We don't often get a chance to actually, you can look back on what you've done and thing, but you don't actually get many chances to sit and actually see exactly how you played every hand.
No, that's true.
And I quite like, I enjoy, I'm quite keen to see if I've played really badly or it doesn't bother me, as long as I can see. This is when I had my little rush. Now this is when I think I might have played wrong, so I'd definitely like your opinion.
Yeah. Well, you've got by far the best hand out here.
Well, we know that now anyway, but I just wanted whether I want to know whether my raises were right. 400 a raise there.
Quite a big raise.
Don't want to call particularly.
Right.
If I get a call, I'm probably behind. But anyway, that's fair enough. I think I might have gone. But there again, I've won the pot anyway, which was the intention.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to call her. This time I changed it, went a bit lower, but it worked.
Yeah.
So that was okay.
You got Gilbert.
Now, look, this was a rush, wasn't it? Ace Queen, Ace Three, Ace King.
It was.
Now this time, this is when I made the remark and didn't realise that all you have to do is raise to win these pots.
Speech play from The Rock.
But as it turned out, none of them got a card to call me with anyway. None of them. And in the end, I thought they're going to call me in a minute, and I've got a reasonable hand, Ace King. So no, that was okay. I thought I might have raised too much, but in actual fact,
Nobody had
it's okay.
thing.
The antes are 120 a time. I'm picking up 360 in the end, no risk. And now I've got myself nicely positioned, I think.
Yeah, at the moment you're good, aren't you?
And now I do something wrong, I'm sure I did. I'm sure I make a very...
It's nice, isn't it, when you get the blinds a couple of hands in a row and then you get a real hand on the
Yeah,
third hand.
I didn't want to have somebody to chase with me with Ace King.
Yeah.
There's somewhere along the line here I go wrong. No, I did this right. I put this down. I thought about taking them on here.
What is it, 670? So it's half your stack, isn't it?
I thought about it, but I was certain I'm behind. I did think, could I be winning it? And I thought, no, he would not have moved all in with a worse hand than King Jack.
Which is a good read.
Because he had a whole reign of go. You know, he didn't have to move in with a hand less than mine. This is the one I got involved with. Now have a look at this. Now have a look at this. This was bad play. This was the bad hand. I played this terrible.
Okay. Well,
I've told you, I want you to confirm it.
I'm surprised you played the hand in the first place.
Well, I made up the blind.
Yeah.
And that was a mistake.
Yeah.
Now
That's got you into trouble,
I go
isn't it?
bad to worse.
There's nothing wrong with betting that.
No, that was okay. To find out where I am, I now find out where I am and promptly call.
You call this?
Yeah.
Malcolm.
I know.
That's our character.
I know, it was really bad. For some reason, I figured he was trying to put me off the end. And anyway, it was bad. That was bad play. Don't you agree? I never should have got involved.
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because
terrible.
If you don't make up the small blind in the first place.
Well, we were talking earlier about putting big hands down or whatever. It wasn't a big hand anyway. But the point is, the chances that I was winning it were probably less than I was winning it, and I've got enough chips. I didn't really have to play that.
I think that's the thing about it, isn't it? You didn't have to do it.
I'm not Jacks. I mean, you don't see many flops at this because it's fast. So I don't like giving up a small blind when there's two people in and I can see a flop.
Right.
Jack 7's not my favourite one. But once I flopped half of that and bet the 80 and he came out, I should have swallowed.
Yeah.
Never should have got myself in a position to lose, what was it, nearly 1,000 chips with Jack 7 on a hand that I wasn't forced to play. So that was terrible. And of course that changed the whole game for me now. And
yeah,
if you
and that's
notice,
the thing, you can't, you make one false move in these.
And we haven't lost a player.
No,
which
still.
Means I'm really now having to press. I'm going to have to press now to get myself back into it. But that was a bad play. I don't know why I thought he was on it.
Well, Johan hits a straight, didn't need it. His 7s were good. Gets himself back into it.
And at the moment, I'm thinking, well, you're going to get the wooden spoon. But somebody did come to my rescue. Not that it makes a lot of difference whether you're 8th or 7th, of course.
It's a little bit better for TV, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, King of Ying has
This is unfortunately King of Flying got done, really done.
Yeah.
Dead on the flop.
Crushed. There you go, someone's out.
So,
hallelujah.
Managed to survive, as I say, getting the wooden spoon. But of course, now having picked up some reasonable playable hands, then what always happens, you get dead, don't you? When you really need a hand.
It's tough to get a hand in this game sometimes. The right-hand side of the table, the table legs must be long because all the chips have gone the other way. 3 short steps.
Yeah, I mean, I looked then and I almost was tempted to put the 490 in with anything.
Because you got 160
coming up. And I thought, wow, I'm not going to get much worse than King 4, especially with a load of players behind me. So I decided to give it one more shot. But if I'd have had a picture with a king, it would have gone in. And this is
9-6,
where...
330 left. So you're getting a price on your money. If you pass, you've got 330 left. So you've got 2 big blinds left.
Got to call. I think. I should anyway. If I didn't, I should have done.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way out of this. And I did, and I hit, and I thought, you well done, Malcolm, you're back out of it, and then on the river comes a jack. So that's...
Surely not.
Yes.
Oh.
But that's okay. I went in with the best hand, but gets me back in the game. Once one bad mistake.
Well, that's the thing.
And you can't afford to make a mistake like that, and that was a bad mistake.
Not in these one-table tournaments. If you make one mistake,
that was a bad mistake. And in actual fact, apart from that, it wasn't so bad.
No.
I nearly got lucky and got out of it, or at least got myself back in contention. No, it wasn't too bad, but just shows you 100% focus, and I lost my focus on that.
If I wasn't here, if the cake wasn't here, if
there
weren't people in the chat box, you'd have been all right.
Just didn't play well. Thought he was at it, and the bottom line was it was exactly what we were talking about before. I have to think a bit longer. I don't need to be involved in this hand.
That's the thing that would have made your decision.
I can throw this away.
And I'm still competitive and wait for a better spot where I'm certain.
He may be bluffing, but I don't have to weaken myself this much to get this pot. Wait another time.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
And I know you wouldn't have enjoyed that or making a bad play, but it is good for our viewers to see, you know, the thought process and the fact that what should have been the deciding factor was that you could have passed.
Yeah. Enjoy playing with your lads. Like to stay in a bit longer. But I certainly don't want to play with you lot again.
You want to play against them with your own money, would you?
I want to play week after week with you.
There really isn't a lot of value, is there? Not a lot of value.
See Morrison still steamrolling over this table. Charwell, looking back on it, has done quite well. In fact, I think he comes back even better than this, but he's never really had much to play with. I like Charwell's play anyway in these sit and goes. You watched him yourself?
Yeah, I like his play. I didn't like his call with the sixes because he didn't have enough chips to make that call. I understand what he's doing. He's thinking if you're on 2 big cards, he might win the pot. But to make that kind of call, you need some more chips, I think. But yes, generally he plays well. Johan Harwood we've seen play God knows how many of these sit and goes, and he's he
What's
knows
his
how to
record
play
in the
them.
sit and goes? He's good in them. I mean, I've seen him in the cash.
Yeah, he's good in sit and goes.
Any idea where he comes from?
I don't know. I'm sure he's told us. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, any of you that were playing with Malcolm tonight, do send us an email, poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk. As we see Gilberto move in. And Angelo didn't need to play that from first position, King Jack. I know the blinds are getting big, but all the more reason to save your chips. So how much do you owe Casper now?
$30. But James can pay him.
Because James was at your account.
Definitely winning on my account. I'd won 2, or I'd been drew twice, lost 1. And I look in there and he's left me $30. Mind you, this was a $30 one. Or was it 20? Doesn't tell you on the top.
Well, Charwell's now in a bit of trouble. And nobody's that safe because the blind's just gone to 160, 320, which is Serious amount.
They really got involved in this one, didn't they?
They did, and
Why the
they're
8-6
all-
decided to get involved, I don't know.
I think people just panic when they're short stacked, don't they?
Well, I mean, this
Two
was
of them have
gonna,
gone in one hand.
well, I mean, there could have been 2 anyway, and he could have still been in with a fighting chance. And the button had just gone. I'd have definitely don't play his hand. He did have 3 more hands to play.
Yeah.
Maybe he just thought he was going to go for it.
Yeah, I think, and people do that. They just toss the last chips in, don't they, and hope for the best sometimes. Gilberto's trying to decide whether to steal the big blind or not.
No, he's chattering.
Oh, is he chattering?
He did a lot of chattering.
He doesn't. Well, we're on the bubble, and some tricky decisions for these guys. Oh, there aren't. I tell a lie. Queens and aces.
We began to wonder how the guy that eventually won it did.
Well, Queens can't get away from this at this stage of a tournament. And look
Nope.
at that, he's hit.
And he hasn't.
Johan will be crying. He probably won't just go and play another sit and go, to be honest. He won't mind. Worst place to get knocked out, though, isn't it? Fourth in
Yeah.
these.
But Morrison's hit some cards, hasn't he, in his game?
Yeah, he has. They've been good to him. Gilberto makes the move, doesn't want to delay any longer. He knows that, well,
What did he make the move with? Jack deuce?
Queen 6 out of small blind.
Oh.
But he knows he's only going to get called by a big hand. It's good timing.
That was terrible. That wasn't good play by Torelli. Flat call with ace-10
That's a bit of a crime, isn't
and
it?
allowed 10-6 to catch up. That wasn't good play at all.
Yeah, there should be no limping at this stage if you're going to come into a pot. Oh, Gilberto could be in trouble here if he... Yeah, he is going to be in trouble. He's unlucky to find a big hand behind him.
Can I outdraw him? Look at that.
Huh. Well,
Runner 8. Well, he got unlucky there, Torelli, but probably made up for the fact that he played the other hand so good. And that was how Gilberto managed to get into a heads-up. He had his share of luck, didn't he?
well, at least he was bold.
Yeah,
Got his chips in.
Yeah, I'm not saying he played, but he had his little bit of luck.
He did, he did.
And he's escaped again. Yeah, there's some margin around, and he's coming out on top. And he's almost sunk Morrison.
He is.
See, that's the trouble. Just 2 little hands, it's all over. And you play good poker for about half an hour, and then it all comes down to sticking it in with rubbish and hoping you get lucky.
Yeah.
It is that, isn't it? There's nothing in it now. There's no skill in it now.
No.
Just get it in.
Basically, your aim is to get to the money, isn't it? And then after that, you stick your money in and hope to finish first, not third.
I mean, Gilbert can't pass this. I mean, you could think doubling up, he's going to pass it. It happened so good, well done, maybe you're better than nothing. I mean, it turned out it was a great pass.
Yeah.
He was dominated. Still getting 3-1, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's a funny game at this point.
Look at the rubbish again.
Well, he's getting through
See,
to
now he's in exactly the same position,
but for worse,
but it's costing him more money.
Could get a split. We couldn't get a split. Nope. It's Morrison's pot.
And now all of a sudden Morrison's back in it.
We could have had a split. I was right.
Oh.
And now he's getting the cards. And Gilberto's been dealt horrible cards.
You don't want these when your head's up, as that happens. You want these multi-way, don't you, early on?
You do. And now he has to call, and he hits.
Again, he's done it.
Well, just goes to show the skills earlier on, isn't it? The skills
I would say Morrison, very unfortunate in the end to end up the loser.
Yeah. But well done, Gilberto. One of our viewers that we met when we played the viewers' special final Poker Bowl.
So has he just done the double, or was that by way of consolation? I know you're not.
I'm not, so don't try and neak out.
Trying to trap you.
He played well, let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everybody must have played well to get there.
Absolutely. They all won.
Play well.
All won online. And I'm sure we're going to do another one soon, guys. So stay tuned for details at some point. Email from Dave. It's an interesting one, Malcolm. Thanks to this, Dave. From the way it's read, I don't think it's the same Dave that we read out an email for before. If it is, well done, you got 2 in. Buy yourself a cake. I don't have to, I got one sent in by a viewer. Don't mention that. I'd be interested in your opinions on the following incident. Final table, 6 players left in my local casino. 3 players fold. The button raises and the small blind re-raises all in. The big blind's still to act. When someone says to the small blind, where are your cards? On looking down, the cards aren't there and the dealer has accidentally mucked them. The small blind is furious, but the card room supervisor rules correctly, in my opinion, and in mine, that the small blind should have taken care of his own cards and he's eliminated. The small blind goes mental, actually says into a rage, and the casino manager is called. The casino manager rules that if the small blind can name his cards to her, she will look in the mucked cards, and if they're there, the small blind can have them back. I've got to be honest, at this point, I would be kicking people to death, I think.
Well, the first thing he does is say, I've passed King.
Yeah.
And hopes her 2
hopes
kings
they're
are
there, yeah.
So it's safe.
Despite protestations from all the other players, that's what happened, and the small blind continued with the hand, would you believe?
Sorry, and the small blind what?
That is what happened.
Yeah.
The small blind named his cards and got them back. My question to you is, what can the other players do about it at the time and subsequently? I was and am tempted to A, call the police, and B, object to their gaming licence. We weren't playing for pennies. I think it's almost unbelievable the casino manager can change the rules during a tourney just to pacify a disgruntled player.
Well, first of all, you can't call the police. And secondly, I don't think that those grounds would be enough to object to their licence.
No.
The ruling was disgusting. It's the player's job to look after their cards. I've told loads of beginners, especially when you're sat either side of the dealer, even more so. It's easy for the dealer to take your cards if they're just stuck at you. So it's not.
It does happen.
You can't blame a dealer sometimes.
No.
So, but having made the mistake, not protected your cards, it's all on him. He's made the mistake. His hand's dead. It was a terrible ruling. All you can do is vote with your feet, or complain to the
kick them.
Well, in your case, you're younger. That's how you youngsters behave. We didn't. We just got a gun. But,
that's proper.
But I mustn't encourage this gun
crime on Poker Night Live.
No, seriously. No, the difference is you go to the general manager and voice your complaint. Yeah. Obviously, the card manager's not up to standard. It's a lady, as it happens, so I'm not surprised. And I've only met one really good lady supervisor in this country, and she runs Star City. Different class than most managers. That's it. Complain to the general manager, get a free meal out of him, which is the least you should expect.
At least, yeah.
And then play somewhere else.
This is the same old problem, though, isn't it, Malcolm? That there are no standardised rules for poker. It's convention, right? So if a floor person makes a ruling, in most places, that's what goes. And it's this kind of continual, whoever shouts the loudest can get their way still in poker rooms sometimes.
But it should have the rules on the wall.
Yeah.
I would imagine, unless it's a really bad casino, the rules on the wall should say you're responsible for your own cards. Once they hit the muck, they're dead.
Yeah.
Now, if those rules are on the wall, she had no right whatsoever to overturn them.
Yeah.
If the rules aren't on the wall, or those were the rules, well, it's about time the players had to look at the rules themselves, realise how bad they are, and get them sorted out.
Yeah, absolutely. There you go, Dave. I hope that gives you a little bit of, well, it gives you grist to your mill, doesn't it, really? But we don't think you can get the gaming licence rescinded. We do think you can get a free dinner. Don't we?
Probably too late, though. If not, you can have some cake.
There's always a bit of cake in the world. Guys, keep them coming in. We've still got over an hour left to go. And poker@pokernightlive.co.uk is the magic address. Malcolm's going to be here for another hour, and so am I.
I'd like to know what casino that was. Or what group.
Yeah.
Be very interested.
I would. But yeah, if you do play live, guys, especially if you're not used to playing live, like Malcolm says, protect your cards. Once they're given to you, they're yours, aren't they? Then it's your responsibility. We're going to go back to that cash game we were watching earlier, lively 25, 50 cent cash game.
Yeah, this is the best little cash game we've seen for a long time, isn't
It's
it?
extraordinary, isn't it? I don't know if you were looking as you were playing, but...
No, it was taking more my time to watch the sit.
It's changed quite a lot, but while you were playing a sit and go, every player on the table was over $50. So every player had a...
Snap it is having a gala night.
He's won a couple of big pots in between visits to this table. And Johan Haren's almost up to 4 times the 50 buy-in.
Yeah, he'd gone to about 180 when we first watched, dropped to 150, so he's done okay. So they're giving some people grief on this table then. And as it turns out, 2 players that we know are very, very good are doing all the damage.
Yeah, all's right with the world. The good players are getting the money. It doesn't always happen.
Happens in the long run.
It really does, doesn't it? And people still don't believe it.
It happens in the long run.
Well, Gold Snake's got a straight and a flush draw. 7 for a straight, or a spade, obviously. And Argyle Jack's going to have a problem calling this, I'd have thought.
Yeah, you can't blame him for passing that.
I do think that's one of the problems with live poker rooms sometimes, Malcolm, which is that if you don't have a strong floor person or tournament director, whoever does shout the loudest,
Correct.
Whoever's the biggest bully,
or in
can get their own way.
The locals get
Or the
the
locals,
verdict, especially if they're roulette players.
Yeah.
And I'm serious.
Yeah, no, I know you are,
If
yeah.
they're a big customer, they'll get the benefit of the doubt. With all these new players coming into the game, if the casinos are really interested in encouraging them to play, they've got to look after them better.
That's right.
Especially as a lot of the new players coming in are casino players because it's new to them.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the people who do the shouting are old pros that in actual fact contribute nothing to the casino itself. You understand?
I do,
They're smart
I do.
enough just to play poker.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that shout the loudest, sometimes bend the rules to suit themselves, known the card room
And
manager for ages.
I do think it's something that, well, and I know this to be true from talking to players, it is something that puts people off playing live, this kind of atmosphere of, it's a clique and...
I've seen loads of internet players come into casinos, even the Broadway, which is well run, and disappeared, and then I ran into them at a beginner's game that I was starting, and they'd moved because of the abuse and the fact they weren't getting a fair crack at a whip.
Yeah.
So, and there's no question about it, this poker now can bring an awful lot of players into the casinos. They've got a tremendous amount of competition.
Yes.
So they've got to they've got to start doing things right, and they're going to fall in the end if they don't employ the right people.
Yeah.
And of course, I feel sorry for some card managers. They're working for a pittance, and even some of the strong ones, when they make the right ruling, are promptly overruled because the particular guy that they've got a problem with is a big player in the casino. So it's a no-win situation for a lot of them. But I've been doing quite a lot of work at the moment on this poker site, and our job actually, or my job, is to go to casinos, make a report on them, to try and do it as unbiased as possible, and I am.
Yeah.
I can look at it from the casino's point of view as well as the players. It can't be all for the players. And there's definitely an improvement, or they're listening. They're prepared to listen if you explain them that you're doing wrong.
And I guess it's competition, isn't it? There's now so much new players that yeah.
And if it becomes that these card rooms can open all over the place, which they are at the moment, and they stay that way, they're going to be in a lot of trouble because these private card rooms can offer a lot more, and they're usually employing a lot more professional staff, people that know poker.
Yeah.
tell you. Unfortunately, the very top echelon or the general managers and that, most of them I've spoke to, they know nothing about the game. Nothing about the game at all. All they know about it is the figures, what it makes, what it takes. Don't understand what's needed to make a poker player happy or what will cheer them up and bring them into the casino.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the end of that.
No,
But
it's
it
important.
does,
I think it's really important because, you know,
I mean,
It
even
is
though we're
important that
here
people
watching the
enjoy-
internet, to me, as a player that's played for a long time, always played live, I'm the other way now, I quite enjoy the internet. But I think most people should try to do both because it's a great social occasion, it can be. You learn a lot more because you actually have the opportunity to talk to players that know the game when you're playing live.
and it's a great experience. There's nothing
And it's
like
a
live
great,
poker.
no, there's
Nothing like it.
whatever way you look at it. But as far as making a living's concerned, the internet is an extra bonus. You can put the hours in that you could never put in before.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I stopped. I barely played live for about 2 years. This is about a year ago, the 2 years previously, because the internet was so much more profitable. Oh, that's a dodgy call by Poker Epic, and he does play a lot of hands, and it's starting to catch up with him now. I wonder what he'll finish the night on. And in the end, even though the internet's more profitable, I missed it.
Yeah.
Because it is, you know, it's a totally different experience, and there's nothing quite like, you know, looking across the table at players and trying to figure them out.
And you do meet some nice people.
Oh yeah, and you meet people from just a massive variety of people.
I went to Reading, Stanley's in Reading, as I told you, and a very poor card room in Luton. Stanley's in Luton. The guy who's a great card room manager, didn't get much out at all. But the people there were really nice.
Yeah.
And I travelled 100 miles there, 100 miles back for one reason. He's a great card room manager, deserves all the support he can get, and the people were lovely. And, all right, I had a draw in the end, but it was a lovely evening.
Yeah.
You know, and we had a South deal and 150 frees out, and you couldn't smoke. The two things I love to do, have a smoke, and I went dealers. And I still enjoyed it.
That's saying something, isn't
Because
it?
the people were so nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And you do get fed up sat in your dining room bashing away on the internet, you know, looking at the same software. That's why this is so nice tonight, because it's new again, isn't it? Fresh.
Yeah. Little chairs.
Yeah. I'm sorry we've left the poker viewers, but I hope you've sort of understood a bit of what we were saying there, because I think it's quite important. I know it's a professional night, but any of you new players out there, don't be afraid to go live. And if you don't like it, go to another place.
Yeah, I mean, the difference now is that there's choice, isn't there? I mean, when I started playing poker in London, there was the Vic and Stanley's in Russell Square.
Yeah.
About
Barracuda or whatever it was
6
called,
years
yeah.
ago, it was called
Yeah.
Barracuda. But that was it.
Yeah.
And they were all quite high stakes games, or in the
Yeah,
main they're quite
yeah.
high stakes games. Now you've got 6, 7 venues in London, a few more just outside London, new ones opening up all the time. So you're right, the bad ones won't survive because the players will, you know, vote with their feet. So if you don't like where you play, try other places, no question. No question.
The good thing about the net, of course, that's the place to start to learn, because you can learn for such small stakes, which
Yeah.
you cannot learn in the casino.
Yeah.
You're going to have to walk in with money if you want to play in a cash game.
Some of us had to pay for our education, innit?
Well, you were too young. We paid for it. The state paid
Yeah.
for your education. People like me paying the
I
taxes.
probably shouldn't have skived as much, should I? Guys, we've got to take a short break as ever. Keep the emails coming. We'll do some after the break. It's poker@pokerlive.co.uk. You've got another hour of this. How lucky are you? Hey, welcome back to Poker Night Live. I wasn't waving at you guys. This is the last hour of the show. Can you believe it? Hasn't it flown?
Yeah,
You just got here, didn't you?
I haven't done any work.
That's the way we like it. Do a little bit now. We were talking about card rooms and the importance of a good one. What are your favourite places to play, Malcolm?
Casino-wise, the Broadway, Birmingham, takes a lot of beating. And I'm really keen on, I think you may have gone, or James went, the Western Club, Hanger Lane. They had a festival the other week, and you interviewed one of their guests there, Johnny Chan.
Mr. Johnny Chan.
And the biggest regret I had was I didn't manage to make the Western Club that week when he was there.
Right.
Apparently he was a complete gentleman, mixed with everybody, And from everybody I've heard, it was a fantastic tournament, great anti-structures, and it was poker how it used to be, where they really looked after you.
Really?
And I can't say anything but good for them.
Yeah.
Because they're the standard.
And this is the Western, it's in Acton, right?
Yeah, Western. No, yeah, on the Hanger Lane, opposite Park Royal.
I'll have to visit.
You've got to go there, honestly, because this is how it used to be, and it's run by two people that I've known for years and years that really know what it was like in the old days and how we used to be treated.
Well, good luck to them.
And I really mean it. They deserve it.
And the tournament with Johnny Chan was a success?
Ah, wonderful. I mean, it's massive competition from Ireland, Barcelona, Southampton. They got double their runners. You know, even on a 1,500 event, 60 runners. But the anti-structure was apparently fantastic.
Excellent. That's
and they
good
got
stuff.
well looked after.
How did he do, by the way? How did Mr. John do?
He got knocked out by the eventual winner.
Oh, okay.
Who also then got a trip to the Caribbean to the Turks and Caicos Islands for a 10 grand package, which Johnny Chan's going to
Johnny Chan was here and he was going on about it, going, you must come out and you must go out. I was like,
I'm definitely going to go. Whatever happens, I'm going to go to this. Yeah. I've had a look at the brochure. It looks a fantastic place.
Cool.
And I can't imagine him being involved in anything that's not good. I mean, I've known him a long time. Not personally, he probably wouldn't recognise me, but I played against him.
I bet he'd recognised you if you were sitting on the table.
2 times that he won the World Series, I sat and watched him when, even though I was a lot older than him, I was learning then. And he was a gentleman, and then nothing's changed, never went to his head. And, you know, I really admire him.
Yeah. Well, he's the thing that struck me is he's played up from the small games. He's never had a backer.
That's right.
He's never had a mentor or anything like that. He's done it all on his own talent, basically.
And he hasn't changed.
Right.
He hasn't changed.
No. No, good stuff.
That was a good coup. I was really flabbergasted.
To get us on, to get him on here.
Fantastic.
It was brilliant, yeah. And he was a star because he'd done, his agent was telling me he'd done over 20 interviews that day and he was jet lagged. And you wouldn't have known it. He was here for an hour and he was, you know.
If you have a look at him, I've saw all the photographs tonight in the Western Club that I took of him. He took photographs with everybody.
Yeah.
And there's one picture at the table and he is fast asleep.
Oh.
He must have been absolutely out of his feet. He was fast asleep at the table.
Yeah.
But I mean, he must have worked really hard there because I saw at least 50 photographs of him, all with different people.
Fair play to him.
So good
He's
luck
a star.
to him.
He's a complete star. Yeah. And like you said, not, you know, not no airs and graces, lots of fun, didn't mind a lot. He was great. Yeah. He was great. We hope you watched it and enjoyed it.
Yeah, you were lucky to have the opportunity to interview him.
I was, yeah. You know, there's not many people that I'd be starstruck by, but he's definitely up there. Yeah. He was great. Guys, I hope you watched it. I hope you saw it. I think we'll rerun it from time to time.
I hope you do.
We're going to, yeah, because it was a big deal having him on.
I miss your interview with him, and I missed seeing him in the West End Club, and I really regret it.
They'll definitely be rerunning it on the channel, no question. I'll make them. Guys, we're going to go to our multi-table tournament, our free roll. Do like the final tables. Hope you stay tuned for it. Do some of your emails before we go off air, poker@pokerlightlive.co.uk. But for now, let's check out this final table, see where we're at. We've got 5 players left.
$250,000.
It's all right, isn't it?
For Lax Fiscan. Yeah.
I don't play that many free rolls, and when I do play them, I play them badly. But a couple of months ago, I got to the final table with one, and I was heads up. And one of us had 1.3 million chips, the other one had 1.8 million chips. 2,000 runner free roll nonsense. It was very entertaining.
You had the big stack or the low stack?
I had the low stack, and the blinds were capped on the site. I think at something ridiculous like 20 and 40,000 or something like that. And it could have lasted forever. But fortunately, the guy I was playing against was playing very, very fast and moving all in a lot, so it didn't last forever.
Did you beat him?
No.
No.
I got my money with the best of it.
What was the first prize?
Got my money with the best of it. It was 1,000 for first and 500 for second.
And how long did it take it? 6 hours, 7 hours?
It wasn't that bad. It was 5, was it? 4.5, 5.
That's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's kind of.
I mean, you wouldn't want to do it every day, would you?
I mean, like I said, I don't play them very often, and it popped up, and I wanted to play a tournament. There was nothing else I fancied. And
that's the time to play them.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're having a bad run and your things don't go right, try and get yourself in a free roll. You're still playing poker. You're not going to need a fix.
And it's great for players that are
just experiment.
Players that are just starting out. It's great for, isn't it?
Yeah. But you can experiment, even if you're an experienced player. You can use free rolls to experiment, change your style a bit.
Very, very good point. That is a very good point.
Yeah, and I do it. I mean, I play a different game in a free roll to see whether it works, to try and get out of the way I'm playing.
Yeah.
And it's good practice to try and handle anybody who's aggressive, because there's so many of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? I think it's also, there's so many kind of magazines and interviews and stuff like that. You do hear the top players will, from time to time, give away one of their moves, or somebody will say something that somebody else has done in the tournament, and you think, I wonder if that does work. You know.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Well, I tried James's King Queen on an unraised pot, and it worked for 2 weeks, and I thought, jackpot, I found it. Eureka, I found it. It's killed me since. I've stopped doing that game. But for about the first 6 games of I played, it worked every time. I thought I found something. It hasn't worked since.
That's a lesson for everyone out there, though. How long have you been playing, Malcolm? A long time, right?
40. I'm 68 now, and I started playing when I was 21.
There you go. That's awesome. 47 years. And you're still trying things.
Of
You're
course.
still learning things.
Yeah, you certainly have to now, even more. There was a spell when, in the 90s, I had a big edge, played in America, tournaments were starting here, people didn't understand even about going over the top and towers. They knew nothing, really, so we had a big edge. But then it stagnated for a long time. Nothing really happened. The internet's changed the way the game's played now.
Yeah.
And you've got to change with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still keep to my basic game, but I would definitely play a lot different to how I did before, and I was successful then.
Yeah.
More than I am now, because I'm having a catch up. The best chance is still in a very good anti-structured game. You know, I need lots of play.
Yeah.
I can't make myself play fast enough.
I'm the same, I'm afraid.
But it's a great game now. You know, fantastic time to be in poker.
It's still growing.
And I think it's got a few years to go yet.
Well, I was talking to a guy who works for one of the biggest poker sites that I won't name, and he said there's been no let up, and it's actually growing faster now than there has been, and it's still, in terms of new players coming in.
And as far as England is concerned, we're still 5 years behind America.
Yeah.
It's so big there. Yeah.
Well, Kenny Lorenzo has just bluffed away his tournament. On the river, no hand, shoved it all in.
And this one could be...
and we're suddenly 5 players.
See, all of a sudden, pairs of 4 suddenly start to look very interesting now. He'll play this against 64,000. Yep, this is going to be all-in job, because he's going to call the re-raise.
Oh, a 6.
And it's all going his way. He's back in the game. Now all of a sudden they're level. Now it's interesting. Well, 3 of them all on 150 grand. Nobody's out of this now.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing I must mention, if he's watching, it's 3 new viewers to Poker Night Live. One of them could be Mr. Aldridge, and all I'm saying to him is, don't raise my blind with a pair of 5s when you're on the bubble, all in, especially when I've got a pair of jacks. Promise to I'll mention that. And the other thing is, I'd just like to thank Andy and the landlord of the Lamb at Childgrove. 2 new viewers, and just to thank them for a lovely meal they gave us last night, gave my wife and I last night. And welcome to the channel.
Absolutely, welcome on board.
Both new players, very keen. Just found out about Poker Night Live, and they said they'd be watching it tonight, along with most of the pub. So they must be after hours.
Yeah.
Maybe they got a 24 hour. They're in the middle of the
surely.
They're in the middle of the country. Lovely, lovely people there. Yeah. So that's it. I've done my job.
Good man. Well, you brought new viewers to the channel.
Yeah.
So we're all for that.
I know we've definitely got at least 10 new viewers today.
Well, this is interesting, isn't it? That it's anyone's tournament. All 4 competitive.
What's the breakdown of this 300? 75 was it for the winner?
Yeah, 75 for the winner. Let's look at the top 4. 75 for the winner, 48 for second, 33 for third, 24 for fourth.
I think the site should add another grand. They've worked so hard.
Let's see if they do that between now and the end. You never know. Yeah, they have got through 476 entrants in this field. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. It's not always the money. It's sometimes you get some great satisfaction just for winning the tournament, not the fact of the money.
I do.
Yeah.
Do you? I was saying to James the other night, I absolutely love playing final tables, and obviously it's great because it means you're in the money. But just playing the final table, and you know the fact that you've got to be really on your game and you've got to try and outthink the other people, and it comes down to the people. It's one of the best things in poker, playing a final table, I think.
Yeah. To any of you out there who haven't experienced it yet, keep trying, because the first time you get to a final table is a great experience, even more so live.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's nothing to touch it. And winning your first tournament, however small it is, it's a great feeling. It makes it all worthwhile.
It really does. You're absolutely right.
I get a big kick out of seeing players win their first tournament. Even if they beat me, I get a big kick because I know what it means.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I called my mum when I won mine.
Sorry?
I called my mum when I won mine. It was 4 o'clock in the morning.
Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
I don't think I'd have been very popular if I called my mother. She never approved of me playing poker in the first place.
I don't think mine did, but she didn't have a choice.
My father's got used to it now. He's 96, and he's finally accepted the fact that poker's not as evil as he thought it was.
Really?
I had to leave home 40 years.
Did you really?
It wasn't acceptable then. Yeah. Yeah, it was pack it in or leave home.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And of course, in those days, you stayed at home when you were 21. You didn't have flats and all that.
No.
They weren't available. I ended up going into digs with the Irish labourers on the motorway. Tough for me, it was.
You must have really liked playing.
I was stubborn, like my father.
Yeah.
But as it turned out, he's been a great father in the end. And he's pleased for me now.
Well, they've only got your best interests, haven't they? They think, you know, it's not secure, which of course kind of isn't, I guess.
Well, it's been pretty secure for me.
Absolutely. Well, 40 years is astonishing, mate. Astonishing. I read an interview with Doyle Brunson saying exactly the same thing, that he was kind of shunned by people he went to high school with, and you know, he didn't let his... He actually, I didn't know this.
I think I read somewhere where he had actually hide what he did.
He pulled out of the World Series of Poker the year that Amarillo Slim won.
Oh, they were on about that. Yeah, he didn't want the publicity.
Amazing.
Well, they gave it him, yeah.
Absolutely amazing. He was down to three-handed, and he didn't want to win it because of the publicity.
Saw it in one of the poker magazines.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Things have changed, haven't they? Well, Crustum's called, and he's hit.
Well,
marginal call, but
yeah,
it's paid off for him.
And that's West Ham Bell?
Yeah.
West Hammer Bell.
West Hammer Bell.
A little bit unlucky. That was a good comeback because they had half their chips at one stage.
Yeah, very unlucky. And now,
but it's going to happen now because you're all pretty close.
It's going to come down. Your tournament's going to come down to 1 or 2 hands, isn't it?
Yeah. What we on
unlucky. 4th place, $24 for West Hammer Bell.
I mean, the antis aren't too bad still. Still got 16 times, 20 times the big blind, you know, very playable still.
Yeah, and we've seen this. A lot of the final tables we show, Malcolm, I don't know, the ones you've seen, the players just play really fast when they don't actually have to.
I mean, I looked in this position at Reading in the week. It was a lot tougher than this.
A lot bigger, lot
well,
faster.
We were playing exactly the same actually. We were playing 5, 10,000, but not so many chips. And they stopped the blind. That's another good thing. See, it was way out of line, the blinds, but when we got to the final, they not only froze them, they brought them back. And then we ended up with some great play. And what I liked about it is they listened to us.
Right.
You know, it was going to be a complete crapshoot. In the end, we had 3 hours real good final play.
That's really good. Yeah. That's really good. So and I do think that should happen in most tournaments because, you know, you work hard to get to the final table, and then it's luck, and it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they did a good job in the end. It was just shaky. It was all right once you got to the final. I mean, I was lucky I got there, but otherwise there was a spell when it became a crapshoot in the middle, and it shouldn't be.
No.
But they did their best, and they turned it into a nice final. Right. Don't think he's going to get much out of this.
Bomb, the big stack.
Switch though. So he just took a big pot off of tax viscount. And ace now becomes quite a big card, as you probably all know at this stage. he decided a flat call, that was really weak, and the worst hand is now raised.
Well,
I really can't see he can call this now, having flat called. That was bad play, that was.
it was bad play by him
play.
and good play by Lax.
He figured he was weak. Well, he knew he was going to put him off the hand. Let's see if he plays it a bit different this time and puts a raising. But you've got to be raising with these cards now.
Well, three-handed, there should be no limping, should there, really?
Well, unless you've got a very big hand and you really want to take a risk, take the chance, which I think is perfectly right if you pick up a big hand to gamble and take all their chips.
Well, Bombom's outdrawn him.
Yep.
But nobody's betting.
Now he's got a 2-to-1 chip lead over each of them on their own.
It's good structure, this, isn't it? There's plenty of play. The blinds have just gone up from 5-10 to 6-12.
We're on about free rolls not being probably, but if you can get to a final of one here, it's some fantastic practice for anybody.
Absolutely.
Because you probably won't get this sort of setup even in when you're paying cash. Not getting two big hands clashing at the moment, no, but he's getting the best of it without any doubt, Bombom, at the moment.
Yeah. And when you got the chips, getting ace-king, even better.
Now he's got more than 50%. Don't like that with the ace-4 again. He's got away with it. I don't like just doubling the blind.
No.
You don't really find anything, do you?
You've got to put pressure on the other players at this stage. It's about putting pressure on them and asking them the question.
I'm not saying you've got to go gung-ho and try and steal every pot, but when you've got a reason why like an ace, you at least want to make sure either you secure the blinds or you get some idea of what the other guy's playing with, and you don't play raising 12 with 12. You can play with any two cards for that.
Yeah.
It's almost compulsory from the call, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, that's probably quite a nice check. Yeah, it is a good check.
Then you watch it go and bet it now. No, he didn't. He did that right anyway.
That for me is a bad bet, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's been called once. The guy's got to have some of that. Not going to pass him. Now that wasn't clever.
No.
If he's made one move on the pot and it's a dangerous flop, you've got to back off it. In fact, you're getting a free card. Not that it mattered to me. I had nothing. It's just one you have to swallow.
Yeah.
Too many people, they try to nick it on the flop, nick it on the turn, nick it on the end, and they're getting caught, and they must know that this guy's never going to pass now. He's got a chance to get it back, any a bit of it. That's slowed him right down. If he'd have had a job to call a bet then. Well, it's going to take some time though. It's going backwards and forwards simply because there's so much play.
It's interesting, isn't it?
I like to be playing in this now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what poker's all about, isn't it?
Yep.
Final stages with some play in it. It's great stuff.
Yeah, switched round again. Chip leader's now the last one. Some 4 cards coming out. And it also should show the viewers that when you get short-handed, just how low the cards can be.
Absolutely. That's why aggression takes the money when you get down to 3 hands and 2 hands.
There's so many times when there's no hand out, it's just a question of putting a bet in. Now, if he checks this, he might just get a bet from him.
Excuse me.
That's okay, nothing wrong with that. Gradually wheedling him down. He's getting the best of it now, crushed him, isn't he?
Yeah, he's had the cards, I think.
And
Again.
he's done it again. That's a nothing bet. Yeah, some bad cards coming out.
Oh, the re-steal. Bold.
I like it.
Yeah.
And this game's wide open to anybody now that really started to put a foot down.
That's right. Nice move from Laxfist Khan.
Yeah, that was a nice move. Especially it was all his chips.
Yeah.
And I think as it happens watching this, you can take this crustum off a hand quite easily. I might be doing him a disservice, but I think he's the weakest of the three players.
Yeah, I think you're right.
From what I've seen of it at the moment.
Yeah, and he's had the cards the last
Yeah.
15 minutes.
Yeah. Limps him far too much for my liking. But he's getting away with it.
I think.
But maybe he likes playing flops. Sometimes you play against a player and you realise the only way to beat Mr. Strance, you know you can beat them if you see flops.
Well,
And the
can he push him off this 5? He's got a straight draw as well.
He might do as well. That's just enough.
He'll be sweating now.
And it only proved my point that you can push this guy
There you
around.
go. Well, I think he's sussed him, hasn't he?
Yeah, you can definitely push him about this one.
Very bold play from Laxis Farm. Very
I'm hoping he wins
strong.
it now.
Deserves it on the basis of those two moves.
Yeah, and he's certainly getting the worst of the cards. This might prove to you people out there that you don't have to have the best cards to win. You just have to have some heart and good timing. He's getting the worst of it every time.
Isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's got his customer now. He shouldn't worry about playing hands with Bomb Bomb unless he has to.
And again, he's really unlucky.
I know.
He's finding the worst hand, but he could win it again. Go on, put the bet in. He didn't. Oh no, you can't push him off this one.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't bet there. His last two hands he's run him off hands.
Yeah, he would have run him off that one too.
Yeah.
But he's getting some shocking cards to play with.
See, I think making up the small blind there is just asking
Especially
for
with
trouble
3-4.
against the big stack. That's the critical thing. He's bluffing the wrong guy. Why is he bluffing the big stack?
Found out he can push customer in. Failed to do it the last time, and then he goes and attacks the big stack.
Yeah, just didn't need to do
Yeah,
that.
I was just beginning to get very impressed with him, but for all that, he is getting some shocking cards.
Yeah, and other people are getting cards against
Yeah,
him. It's
he's
even
being
worse. Isn't it?
forced into some horrible position. Well, he hasn't got much choice now. It's going to have to be an all-in move pretty quick.
Thank you. Again, first player to bet. He's so short stacked now, Laxis Farm. That's his problem.
Still can't find a hand, can he?
No, and 3.5 times the big blind now. He's
I would have moved all in then. Then he'd have got away with it. Maybe it's just beginning to change for him now. It might be just going. Now he's limping again anyway, which is sheer waste of $6 grand.
Well, limping against the short stack is just crazy.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before on the show about this limping in on the small blind, and I think it's a real no-no.
Do you in ring game play? You don't like it either?
No. I'm guilty of it, but again, through watching Poker Night Live, it makes you start to think about things that you get into a rut when you've been playing for years. And watching this show myself, when I'm not on air, I've picked things up from it, and I've changed things around.
Yeah.
And I've told my wife, I said, look, if I can sit and watch it and it makes me think about my game, you really should be watching it. And
we get flack from some pros, you know, because we've improved the standard too much.
Well, I mean, Michelle's an outstanding case. You know, she might have had it in her to be a decent player anyway, but she's improved simply because she's been being told by people that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And Lindsay's coming on. From the very first time that I worked with her, she's beginning to come on.
So's Kara. Kara's won 2, 3 beat the presenters now.
I know.
But they all have, and it's just, you know, you can't help it. If you sit here watching the cards every night...
Yeah, and you're smart enough to listen and take it in, you're going to improve.
Yeah.
I mean, for some people, it's just too much trouble.
He's battled back. Battled back to 121.
Just suddenly started to have a run of the cards, see? He's just beginning, the cards are beginning to swing round to him.
And that's the great thing about the fact that there's a bit of play in this tournament. He's been able to wait out.
Yeah.
And he's got enough chips now, he doesn't have to play for a bit.
See, this is
it's just
very strange play from Cruston. Never makes a move on the pot, does he?
No.
And he got what he deserved. Strange play.
Well, really, Lax Fiscon is the only one actually making any kind of moves.
Yeah. Well, the other guy, Bomb's getting the best of the cards anyway. Just picking up the chips.
Oh, come on, boys, you're on TV. That won't do.
I'd have wondered about that if I was Tax Fiscon then. You're going to get taken up. Oh, no, the 8 came. No, that was not so good again. Once I picked up that flush draw and a straight draw, I want to put 1 bet in.
I think you said to me, oh, look at this. Well, Lax Fiscon should double through here. We should have a brand new tournament after this hand, unless he gets very unlucky. Oh, that's horrible. Heart. We need a heart.
Yeah. Oh. That was unlucky.
That's horrible.
Big shot. And he'd have won this tournament if he'd have took that.
He would, wouldn't he?
I think he had enough in him to have started to run over him.
He really did.
So many times.
It's a cruel game sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, he's played so well to stay alive because he didn't have the cards, and you know.
It finally came right for him. It's all gone this Bomb's way. He's never had to do much at all, apart from get lucky.
Well, you get the plaudits of the Poker Night Live crew, Lax Fiscon. Well played. 3rd place for you.
Yeah, he deserved a better fate. But next time. I might even send him a Gaming TV Play Zone mug, because this one's got a chip in it.
Well, it's got more chips than he's got right now, I'm afraid. Straight for Bum. Can he get any chips out of Cruston? That's the question. Nope.
Hard to get anything out of Cruston. Well, he should absolutely.
Well, I can't see how Cruston wins this because.
No, I can't see how we can win it.
Because every time he bets, Bum can just throw his hand away, can't he?
Yeah.
Oh, he just doesn't need to do that.
I mean,
That's a crazy
terrible
call.
play again, isn't it? A bad standard, this is, you know.
Well, what?
You know,
He's been watching Cruston.
We've been watching it here. You should know exactly. I know we've had the benefit of seeing the cards, but so has he in lots of cases.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just.
He only bets when he's got a hand.
Just doubled him up with nothing.
Yeah. Crazy. Come on, Bum. Nothing against Cruston, by the way. I think he's probably just inexperienced playing short-handed, you know.
I mean, it's a new experience, a completely different experience. And he's probably conscious of the fact that he's being watched as well. and doesn't really want to make a big mistake.
Yeah.
So he's not really making any moves. You've still, you know, we're not knocking you because you've done well to get this far anyway, and well done to both of you. But I hope when you review this, you'll look and see what you could have done. Because unless Bonbon does something like he did just now, which was crazy, he can't lose this. Flat call, flat call, flat call. That's a hell of a flop, 4 5s.
That's an all right hand heads up, isn't it?
Mind you, I was talking to one of the camera crew when I walked in, and of course you hear bad beats all over the. Yeah, I know.
Check all in. That's not quite
that's
perfect play.
And I just walked in. Of course, I spent all my life hearing about bad beats, and I probably moaned about a few myself. But walked in, and he had 4 kings and walked in at 4 aces on the internet. 4 kings. Mm.
And no bad beat jackpot.
And no, that's right. And when the 3 aces came and the guy bet, I said, well, you passed then, didn't you? And he said, how could I pass? That is a difficult, isn't it?
That's a difficult pass, yeah.
But it wasn't a lot left for the other guy to have, was there? Yeah.
Well, Croston's still in this with a chance.
He can only win this by sheer weight of hands.
Yeah.
There's no other way he's going to win it. You could just rob him to death, couldn't you?
Yeah.
And like you
As
say,
soon as he plays
if
back,
bets,
3 hand away.
let him have it.
Yeah.
Let him have it.
Yeah.
Must be listening. The 3 minutes has gone past and he's listening. Nothing wrong with that, don't mind letting that go. Got a big lead. Push with this, he'll probably push with it again. Push a bit hard to it.
Close
Take him off
as,
it. Just
yeah.
keep taking his 8,000 that he keeps wasting. And raise him up.
Yeah, he's
Nice of
beating
him.
him up now, isn't he?
Well, he will, won't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're probably going to end up being proved wrong by some freak, but I mean, this can only go one way at the moment. And Bomb's not particularly doing a lot. I mean, I don't know, they're both about as bad as one another. Mind you, the funny thing is you can limp in against Crustum and you've got a very good chance of seeing the flop. He's going to get him under 100 grand now. Yeah, he's learned from that mistake.
Basically,
He's flat calling too.
yeah. Trying to figure out how Crustum can win this, because he's going to have to find Bonbon with a hand 2 or 3 times,
Yeah.
and get lucky on him, I think.
But Bomb's still not taking full advantage of this.
No, he could be, he could be betting he could
He's
winning every other
He's
hand.
limping in himself.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah,
could
you're
happen
right.
where he could get involved in a hand like this. Now he'll... Oh, that's okay. He didn't go for him with that one. But blinds now are beginning to make a difference now.
Yeah, up to 816.
And I'm not seeing many flops at all. You got to bet that. I mean, we know what you've got, but you should have bet that. They're dangerous.
Yeah, you don't want a single diamond
No.
out there, do you?
That wasn't very clever again.
No.
see where something weird.
Oh.
There you are. See, this is how he's going to lose it. 8. This is how he's going to lose this. All of a sudden they're level on chips. He's done all that work
just
and
patience.
he's just given it him back. And he just hasn't got the patience.
No.
And he might well go on tilt now. Twice he's took him on for a big chunk of chips with no hand.
No, with no hand.
And yet he'll flat call with no hand and won't try and steal the blinds. No, there's a chance here.
Oh, he might call there, yeah. Yeah, he does. Split pot. It is.
Oh, that's disappointing, wasn't
it? Got all revved up.
Well, they're dead level.
We could be here for a while.
They could.
You're not doing anything
playing.
after, are you?
Yeah.
We've got extra time on Poker Night Live.
Well, we should go to penalties now. Yeah, he's gone in front.
Do you do deals, Malcolm? In tournaments?
I've often done deals. One because I've always had to be a grinder to make a living, and the times you get to the finals, especially nowadays, aren't that many. There's usually a massive difference between, in lots of cases, between top and first, top 3 prizes.
And the field is so big,
and even if
you want to get
and
paid.
Again, sometimes playing against players that you're sure you can beat, but the anti-structure is such that you haven't got that big an edge. So yeah, if I think the deal's fair, I'll do a deal.
Yeah.
I might even give a bit away on the basis that, especially if it's a local place, it's going to swing round another evening and they'll do the same for you. I think you've got to draw as many times you can at a comp, because you can go a long time if you're playing a lot and not get to finals. So when you do get to one, you've got to make sure you get some wages.
I agree.
If you're sponsored, it's a lovely position to be in. I had an interview with a guy the other week. He's sponsored, plays in virtually every tournament, keeps a lot. He can afford to go for it, can't he?
Yeah, but most of us obviously,
yeah.
Most of our viewers, not the case.
Yeah, I'll do deals. Honest deals, and then there's not betting with people and slow playing with friends. I really do believe in playing the game straight. I try to knock out my wife, she tries to knock me out. I never ever slow play with anybody.
The thing is, I don't know about you, but I play harder against people who, my friends and people like that, when I end up against them in a tournament, because it's, bragging rights, isn't it? You don't.
I never worried about bragging as long as I got the money. Really, no, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean. You don't want. I don't want Casper knocking me out. That would be terrible.
Yeah,
I'd cry for a month.
Yeah.
Aces for crust. Oh, what's he doing?
He's done it.
And he's got called.
Yeah.
By King 9.
Well,
it's
I'm
over.
afraid I have to apologise, Custom. Whatever you did it right because you won it. But I think you were lucky that you ended up with Bomb heads up instead of the other guy.
I think that's true.
Because I really think that was there for the taking.
It was interesting, wasn't it? Because I think with Bomb, he can correct us if this isn't the case. I think we saw a player lose a little bit of patience.
Yeah, twice.
Twice.
He just thought, I'll have a shot at taking him out, when all he had to do was just sit there and work.
That's right.
And he had an ideal opponent that he could just chip away at.
Yeah.
And win with the worst cards.
Twice we saw him double him up with, I can't remember what the first one he had.
10-7 diamond.
10-7 diamonds was the second one, wasn't it?
And the King 9.
The King 9. Got to keep your patience, guys. And I think, it was a long end of the tournament. Yeah. They've probably been playing a few hours. Lost his patience, that's the penalty. But well played to all of them for getting that far.
But having said that, you're probably, new at the game. You're in a free roll, so you've learnt a bit. You've listened to us. We're not always right, obviously. But I think in this particular case, you can learn from what's been said.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
Because there's not very much that anybody did apart from Fish.
Laxis Fran, or whatever his name was.
There's nothing that you actually did yourselves on there that I would dream of doing.
Yeah.
I think
I think the thing is, Malcolm, it is an experience thing, isn't it? And it's very difficult to, until you've got quite a few final tables under your belt, it is difficult to know how to play.
Completely different situation.
And because you don't get to final tables that often, it takes a lot of poker time to learn.
But again, see, heads up. Very few people play heads up because there's deals done. Yeah. I know players that have been playing for years and they've never played heads up because they've always done a deal.
Yeah.
But there's no excuse for not being able to play heads up now, because you can go and play one-on-one on the internet on all the sit and goes, and with reasonable amount of playing, and it's good practice.
Casper and I got into poker at roughly the same time. We used to play each other heads up for a little bit, like tiny money, but for practice.
Yeah.
And when we independently got to different tournament finals, it just does you the world of good, because most people you come up against, you're right, no experience of heads up.
Yeah.
Does do you a lot of good. We'll get through some emails for you guys before we go off air. Charwell's emailed in Malcolm, who you played in the
player
presenter.
Yeah.
He says, thanks for the game before, Malk. As always, comments from both of you have been incisive, like a laser. You're right to criticise my plays on tonight's game, as I played like a lemon. His words. In my defence, I was playing 4 games at once, and with the short structure, I was a bit thrown. However, like every game, you live and learn. P.S. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. P.S. I sometimes throw a very small bet with a pat hand, a draw, or nothing, because we talked about his small 20 bets, I think. I can usually deduce my opponent's cards and get the aggressive players to raise my apparent weakness. If I am trapping, I can make a lot of chips quickly. In addition, the amount of times you can take down a pot with your opponent sensing you're trapping is also worth the bet. So he's actually saying he sometimes makes little bets to trap an aggressive player. That makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, many a time I've put a weak bet in, mainly because I've just been too lazy to move the cursor along to make it 60. And by betting 20, they then moved all in.
Right.
And you've got them. So, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. We're talking tonight about different card rooms and different places to play. Kyle has emailed in, and I agree with this, one of my favourite places to play. Just wanted to inform you about great poker nights on offer at the Stanley's Casino in Newcastle. I was nervous when I first went, but they made me feel welcome. It was a great experience. The only complaint I would have is at Tawny's that there's only a card dealer at the final table.
Yeah, I wouldn't accept that.
But they don't charge a registration fee, Malcolm.
I know, well, they shouldn't. I mean, I know casinos that are charging registration fees and no dealers. It's absolute liberty. You shouldn't play there.
Yeah. But if somewhere isn't charging a registration fee, then self-delt's all right, isn't it?
That's not all right.
Well, how do they pay if they're not?
They get it from the... They want
Don't blame
bodies
me.
through the door, you know. Especially when you've got new players coming in, which most of these are from the internet. They never a doubt in their life.
I agree with you.
They're wide open to being cheated, because I promise you, self-doubt, it's not very difficult to cheat.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
Yeah.
And it'll happen. I think if they're going to run a card room, find the dealers. You know, they've got a duty to find the dealers. That's what I think.
No, it's fair enough.
And I think that they can get their money back on the tables anyway.
Yeah.
And if they don't think they can, don't bother run a poker night.
Yeah.
Because why do they want them in there in the first place? They don't want to supply dealers. Why do they want them in there otherwise?
Yeah.
Give them dealers.
Well, there you go, Carl.
That's not so good.
Take
and
that.
funny enough, you've said about Stanley's in Newcastle. I didn't like Stanley's at all at one time. They were anti-poker, miles behind the Grosvenor group. They've certainly changed their mind. They're doing everything they can to get things right now. I'm quite impressed with them.
Yeah.
They've gone forward and the Grosvenor's gone back a bit. But in actual fact, in Newcastle, you've probably got the best casino in the country, which is Asper's.
Superb, isn't it?
The guy who runs it, general manager Duncan Savage, used to run the Rainbow.
Yeah.
Really good guy. And they've got a guy in from the Crown who's a card room manager, spends a lot of time publicising his site on the forums.
And the card room's beautiful, isn't it?
Tremendous.
Absolutely beautiful.
Stanley's actually got a big problem in Newcastle because they had it all their own way for a long time. So you're very fortunate. You've got Stanley's and Asper's, and apparently another big one being built there.
And they've got Bannatyne's has poker, I think, and I think the Grosvenor has poker one night a week. It's Newcastle's
Newcastle's a great place to play at the moment.
And very friendly.
No decent players, mind you, come out of Newcastle.
I'll tell him.
Or footballers.
No, that is true.
Lindsay.
She's rubbish at football.
Nice email, though.
Yeah, nice email. He says, the one thing I was a bit unsure of, and actually I believe to be wrong, when someone raises and then someone else re-raises the original raiser, was not allowed to put in another re-raise, he was only allowed to call. That's weird. What's the correct thing here? I play there regularly and find it very enjoyable. My first visit, I won £340. That's fatal for your life. I imagine when the original raiser wasn't allowed to re-raise, there must have been an all-in player. Because if an all-in player makes a re-raise, but it isn't a full re-raise, that doesn't reopen the betting. You can then only call. I can only imagine that's that.
Yeah, I mean, this is a common thing that happens and people don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make the betting live again.
Yeah. Now, Malcolm, we're not turning this into your personal correspondence chat show, but Andy's emailed in.
Oh, Andy.
Just to say, he's just in from the pub, missed most of the programme.
Oh.
Been playing online, took your advice and won a tourney.
Oh, that's good.
And he's just saying you mentioned the lamb in your meal last night. Thanks for an enjoyable evening. This is like reading out a letter from your mum.
Oh, I know. But anyway, it's a new viewer.
It's a new
Even
viewer.
though they missed
Andy,
most
welcome
of it.
aboard.
He could buy me another one now, he won.
There you go, exactly. We've got an email from the Double Top. Good evening, the Double Top.
Double Top's a good player.
Yes, and he has had a tough hand. This is bordering. That's something you do when you imitate Carol Vorderman. I don't know what it means. This is bordering on a bad beat story, but I'm going to go for it.
2 in the morning.
Well, it's not really a bad beat story. He just wants advice. He says, working in a very boring office, I found a great way to pass the time. I listen to poker-related podcasts most of the day. Yeah, you can get some good stuff online now, some interesting stuff. I'd like to know what Malcolm thinks about the following situation. He has A7 suited. He flops the flush. Do you check or raise? If someone raises before you, do you call or raise? And how would you play a nut hand on the flop? The turn card comes and pairs the board, giving someone a full house chance. What now? So how do you play? I'll tell you the bad beat bit of it in a minute. How would you play flopped nut flush, Malcolm?
Cash game, is it, or a comp, you know?
Well, tell him for what would the differences be?
If I flop the nut flush and it's my first to act, I check it.
Yeah.
19 times out of 20, I check it.
Yeah.
Hoping somebody's either got a small flush, and they might have to bet it because they're worried about the big card, big heart, or whatever it is, a heart coming on the fold. They're going to have to bet it if they've got a low flush, correct?
Absolutely.
So that's the main hope. I'm not worried about trips or anything else, because if they've got them, they're going to have to bet it to protect their hand. I know exactly how I stand. So I check it anyway.
Yeah.
If it's checked all the way round, I think nobody's probably got a hand that can beat me at that moment. If it pairs the board on the turn and there's been no betting, I'm now going to put a bet out. Nothing that can really damage me, but I'm going to put a bet out to find out where I stand.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, tricky position, you know. If somebody comes back over the top, depending again when it's cash comp or whatever it is, you have to make a decision.
It's going to come down to judgment,
but I'm going to
isn't
bet. If I get flat called and the next card comes a blank, I'm going to bet again. But I'm not going to get carried away now, because when that flop came down, nut flush draw, I'm hoping it's going to stay like that until the end. That I'm always going to have the nuts.
Yeah.
You're in bad position, but I'm definitely going to check it.
Yeah. I think when the board pairs on the turn, most of the time you're probably not going to worry too much. It's going to come down to certain situations where certain players wouldn't play against you.
This is it. It's down. There are certain times when you almost know you're beaten.
Yeah.
But the player you're playing.
He goes on to say that he actually lost with his ace-high flush to a straight flush. That was the bad beat. And he says, do you ever worry about a possible straight flush? I think the answer's no.
I pay it off, and that's the end of it.
You pay off tough luck. It's a story, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a story.
You pay it
Thanks,
off.
Top. Thanks to everyone that emailed in tonight. It's flown by, isn't it, Malcolm?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. It's my first time.
We
We had a laugh. You are a hell of a job to keep up with. You're so young and full of it that you wear me out.
I remember.
It's been good.
You've done great.
It's been good.
Guys, there'll be another Poker Night Live, 10 o'clock tomorrow night, and we'll both be back soon. See you later.